think the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know if it was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0 1 1 1 0 1 1 6 3 2 9 7.
Media doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. And I'd like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Tuesday night, and you know what that means. It is show night. And we're back. And we've got some things to talk about, like we usually do. That's what we do. It is a talk show after all. What are the things we talk about, you may ask, if you're new? Well, let me tell you. We talk about aliens. We talk about conspiracy. We talk about the paranormal. We talk about the 24-hour news cycle and propaganda. We talk about the government. We talk about academia. We talk about major corporations and how money is not more important than people. I think that about covers it. That about sums it up. This show is about you. This show is about us. And this show is about our narrative. We get together and we discuss the things we want to talk about, not the garbage that CNN tries to stuff down our throat or Fox News or any of the rest of this. This is our own time. This is our time. This is a show where we get together and we talk about that stuff. And yeah, there you go. I think that's probably sums it up. But we'll do. So the way this works is we're going to do news. We'll do news like usual, but it's not the mainstream narrative. It's our news, the news that we want to talk about. So we'll touch on that tonight. Then we're going to get into some more coronavirus. We've got some maybe an interesting take, some things you may not have known about it, and maybe some retrocausality here. Talking about Clade X and a tabletop exercise. What is that? Don't worry. We'll talk. We'll get to that. We'll explain all that as we go, and get into coronavirus news from today. That's what's on deck. And then we're going to look back into the past, and we're going to look and see if there's I don't know, maybe like a Greek myth, some sort of parallel to what's happening right now with this coronavirus. And we'll get into some of that tonight. We have Sean from Canada joining us in the second half, and we'll as we pass the news. So he's in on deck on chat, and he'll be joining us tonight. No Ash, but we do have help tonight, and we always have each other. So the reason why we do this show live and and I lean on you guys is because, well, it's important. We have one of those relationships, right, where you can't really know it all. So if we lean on each other and do it right, then we can share information, and that's the reason we do it live. So I will read chat as we go, and if you want to call in and be part of the show, most important, this show is live. So you can actually call in right now by dialing this phone number, 702-957-1037, and you can you call, I'll pick it up, you'll be on the show, we can talk about things and do what we do. And that's how it works. If you don't like old school telephone number, that 702 area code is from Vegas, which is where we're broadcasting and streaming from. You can join Discord, and you can do that by going to troubledminds.org, and which is the official website. It's got the phone number there on the top right, and it also has the Discord link, so you can join Discord that way. And there we go. That's what's on deck tonight. That's a mouthful. There's a lot here, but we are. Yeah, there we go. We've done it once. We'll do it again. We'll get through it. So let's see. Let's get rid of that stinger transition because that's annoying. And all right, so let's. There we go. So let's get started. Let's do some shout outs. And if you want to shout out, just type where you're listening from in chat, and we'll shout you out. What's up? We got Todd Gets First on Facebook. Thanks for showing up, my man. We had Dave Gets a Close Second. We got Sean from the future. He's going to be on the show tonight. What's happening, man? Sean from Canada. That would be our favorite Canadian. What's up, Larry? Thanks for showing up. We got Christopher. Greetings, fellow Earthlings, he says. What's up, Juan? Thanks for being here. We got Brian. Hello from Scotland, troops. Scotland, all the way from Scotland. Well, hello from Las Vegas. We got Kat. Thanks for being here. We got Robert. We got Kelly. What's up, Kelly, my man? Kelly says, I create vibrations and frequencies that alter future realities in third dimension. Let's elaborate on that at some point, please. Let's see. We got Carlos. No prophecies. What's up, Gregory? How you doing? Let's see. Gregory says, been speaking with family and friends in Europe. Bavaria is closing most schools. A great many are infected, perhaps 50%. Merkel is expecting 70% infected. Croatia also has a great many infected. Well, we're going to talk about some of that tonight as well, and Italy, and a little of that. So if you guys have now, this is the thing, right? So that the media doesn't report this stuff. We'll continue with shout-outs in a sec as I tangent on that. Thanks for the great comment there, Gregory. Is what's actually happening in your communities, right? We have local news, but what happens is you can't actually watch all of the local news, right? So in some capacity, we rely on the mainstream media to gather these things up, these reports, and give us an accurate reporting, right? Ha ha, wink, wink. Yeah, that's what they do, right? The mainstream media, they report what? They report BS, which is why we're here, right? Which is why we talk about this, which is why we want to parse the news ourselves. We don't want them to tell us because they lie to us. So, yeah, I mean, what's going on in your neck of the woods? This is important. So, again, if you want to share that, type it in the chat or join the show by calling this phone number, 702-957-1037. You know what to do. We'll put you on the show. Let's see. Elizabeth, thanks for showing up. We got, who else? Eric, hello from Pittsburgh. How you doing, buddy? He says, I'm here for the awesome background images and conspiracy. Share the feed. Appreciate that. Yeah, do call in. Ted, greetings from New Mexico. We got Patrick, hello from Salt Lake City. We got Ad Astray. We got Mujwe. We're going to call you Mushway because the name is way too long. Let's see. We got Mark. What's happening? We got Eric. How you doing? We got Joe from Florida. I'm stuck in the bathroom. Everyone took the toilet paper. He says. And there you go. We'll talk about that as well. Who else do we got? We got Tamron. How you doing? Tamron from South Africa. We got, okay, that rounds out Facebook. If I missed anybody, go ahead and type where you're listening from. We'll shout you out. On Mixer, we've got Noble Kal-El gets first. What's up, my man? Always hosting us, always consistent. Thanks for being here. Also boosting our Discord server. So for the crispy sound you get from Discord guests, and when you join it, that's that courtesy of Noble Kal-El. So appreciate that, my man. We got Bailey on YouTube. Thanks for showing up. We got Cedric. We got Paul, Grant, and Green Arrow. I think that sums it all up. I think that's it. I think that gets us to where we need to go, to the starting point, which is, what would the starting point be? Let's start with the news. So before we get into the other crazy stuff tonight, we'll start with the news. And check this out. We're going to start with sciencealert.com, and here we go. As always, I will put the links in the chat so you can follow along and read this stuff and fact check me and do all the things that the media never does, right? This is open source, and this is called transparency. So if you want to call me out because I missed a detail, you are more than welcome. I'm only human after all. All right, so here we go. This is reported by sciencealert.com, and headline: we have finally found a chunk of Theia buried deep inside the moon. Yeah, right? Everybody know what Theia is? Well, let's find out. About around 4.5 billion years ago, something the size of Mars collided with a newly formed Earth to colossal effect, this article says. This object is not only thought to have fused with Earth and primed it for life, it also broke off a large chunk that went on to become the moon. The story is known as the giant impact hypothesis. The Mars-sized object is called Theia. And now, for the first time, scientists believe they found traces of Theia in the moon. Yeah, how cool is that? So, it's kind of what is this? Astronomy. This is science. This is how science works, right? They find new information. So, where did they find this and why? The model was so the giant impact hypothesis has been the favored model for explaining the formation of the moon for years. And quote, this is a let's see, quoted by, where's it at? Quote, this model was capable of accounting for the then recent observations from samples returned by the Apollo missions, which included the moon's low iron content relative to Earth, depletion in volatiles, and enrichment in refractory elements. Refractory elements, that's a mouthful. While avoiding most of the pitfalls of previous lunar origin theories, researchers from the University of Mexico wrote in the paper. That's why I couldn't find the name, because it's, researchers from the University of Mexico. Oh, well, which we can click and check the paper. I'll link that as well if you guys want to check it out. But usually, they quote like a particular person, right? Instead of, ancient astronaut theorists say yes, right? Instead of just a random descript group of people. No, they usually quote a person, but there we go. There's the paper. You guys can check it out. But okay, so pretty good stuff here. This is hopefully we'll get some more information on this as this develops. But I thought this was pretty cool. This was March 9th reported, and there we go. So Theia, the large Mars-sized object that had collided with Earth and created the moon. So yeah, science. Good stuff, right? If I missed you out, what's up, Johnson? How you doing? Thanks for showing up. Hello. If I missed you and you want to shout out, just type where you're listening from. We'll shout you out as we go. Joe from Spring, Texas. How you doing, buddy? We got, let's see. Who else? We got Todd, the coronavirus. He says, LOL. All right, buddy. All right, buddy. I'm with you. LOL. Okay, so all right, there we go. So there's the first one. There's how we get this off to a let's call it a good start. I agree. That's a good start, Sean. But what do you guys think? So we're going to talk about the coronavirus tonight. We're going to talk about Clade X, which is a tabletop exercise that maybe started this whole thing, maybe predicted this whole thing. Who knows, right? Who knows where this came from? But we'll talk about that, and then we want to hear from you. So if you have anything going on in your area with the coronavirus or any of the rest of this, do call in. We want to hear what's happening in your neck of the woods. Like Gregory said, there's some craziness happening in Europe regarding all this. Italy locked down 100%, and who knows what else is not being reported, right? This started with China not reporting things, and so here we are in a situation where are we guessing? This is possibly a pandemic worldwide. Lots of people dying, and we're guessing. I guess guessing is good. What's up, Daniel from Mobile, Alabama? How you doing? We got Nikki from New Zealand. Hello. And yeah, there we go. Caught up. If you guys want to shout out, just let me know, and we'll shout you out. Okay, so there we go. There's where we start this. We started with the moon and Theia. Was it Theia? I can't even remember now. Okay, we're moving on to the next one. Okay, so let's see. That was yes, Theia. Theia was the one. I was correct. Okay, so now check this out. This is reported by one of our favorite sources, CNN.com, and yeah. Think about. We've talked about the coronavirus, right? And where did it come from? And is it natural? And it came from, first they said it was from a seafood market, and then they said it was from the speculation was that it was from a biolab that was right there in the Wuhan district next to the fish market that they said it came from. And then, we speculated some other weird stuff, like they had pulled some ice samples from the glaciers in Tibet, and right there in China, and they found some new viruses that way. So what's actually going on here? There's a ton of stuff. Well, reported by CNN, headline, new chlamydia species discovered deep under the Arctic Ocean. Oh, snap. Yeah, chlamydia, right? That chlamydia. Yeah, okay, so a team of researchers discovered several new chlamydia-related species deep below the Arctic Ocean, a place with no oxygen and without an apparent host organism. They were surprised. Quote, finding chlamydia in this environment was completely unexpected and, of course, begged the question, what on earth were they doing there? Yes, so I'm not going to go into details about chlamydia and how that spreads, but you guys can look that up if you're interested. It's probably not suitable for a family show, so we won't talk about that. But you get it. You get what I'm saying. And these are the types of things that they're discovering, right? And the global warming alarmists will tell you, hey, if, as this melts, it's letting these viruses out, right? So did the coronavirus come from a cobra or a bat or a pangolin, like they've said, or a seafood market or a lab, or was it some kind of permafrost accident? Was it? There's a lot of options here, right? Like, and nobody's really narrowed it down because they can't really say. They've looked for patient 0, and they can't find him, or her, or it, or whatever the hell it is. So yeah, I mean, there's that. But anyway, I thought this was interesting. Again, reported today, Tuesday, March 10th, and all the news is hot and fresh from today. So this is trying to keep it brand new for you guys, and hopefully keep the conversation going here. All right, so there we go. New chlamydia species discovered deep under the Arctic Ocean, which sounds weird as hell, right? Kind of like that black oil from the X-Files or something. Yeah, like what kind of alien species is going on there? Who knows? Let's see. Okay, so what else do we got? Johnson, let's see. That's better. Locked in. Hope you all okay. Anyone catch me quickly on what's going on? Yeah, we're talking about the coronavirus and some news and some other stuff. So we'll get to that tonight, and we're going to get to some Greek mythology as well. We're gonna add that in and see if we can make this all tie together tonight. So let's see. Christian, what's up? Thanks for showing up. Eric says $4,500 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to get injected with the coronavirus and let them try to cure you. Legit post from local news station here. Okay, so you're saying they will pay somebody to volunteer $4,500. They give them $4,500. They inject him with the coronavirus and then let them try and cure you. Is that what science is now? It's turned into $4,500, and let's roll the dice with your life and pray that we can cure you before it kills you, or doesn't kill you, as the case may be, because it's not that bad, right? It's just the flu. You guys have heard that, right? It's just the flu. But they've locked down an entire country, Italy, and schools are closing, and yeah, okay, just the flu. It's right, just the flu. What's up, Christopher? Nothing to do at this point. The toy is everywhere, and it's going to burn through the population. Yeah, maybe. Let's see, who else? Kelly says a lab. Yeah, that could be where it came from, right? Some sort of lab. Joe from Florida says, I'm sure I may know a few strippers who might have this type of chlamydia. I throw change at them and run. Well, there you go. So Eric says you can make it hail with $4,500. So hope you survive. That's funny how that kind of ties in neatly together. You guys are great and on point tonight. Okay, so new chlamydia species discovered, so on and so forth. But let's move on to the next one. This is sciencealert.com, and this is pretty cool. I thought this one's neat tonight. Headline, detailed test shows space-grown lettuce is as safe and nutritious as Earth lettuce. Right? So is that, what is that? Is that like Monsanto lettuce? Or is that, what kind, fully organic lettuce? I mean, lettuce isn't lettuce, right? I mean, it's just like, there are many, let's say there's many levels of pizza, let's say. There's also many levels of lettuce. And okay, but anyway, so there we go. I did link it if you guys want to check this out. But according to a study published in the journal Frontiers in Plant Science, lettuce grown in space isn't just delicious, it's also just as nutritious and safe to eat as boring old Earth lettuce. Quote, the ability to grow safe, fresh food to supplement packaged foods of astronauts in space has been an important goal for NASA, reads the paper. So looks like they've done it. And let's see, it says it's far easier than growing other veggies, and unfortunately tomatoes and peppers, which we hope to grow this year and next, will need similar growing conditions. So lettuce is easy, but to get the good stuff, it's going to take a little more work and a little more time, but they're saying they can grow this stuff in space now, right? Yeah. Weird. That means you'll have a lettuce roughage for your sandwich or whatever, right? I don't know. Yeah, it's something like that. What's up, Ted? How you doing? Ted says, okay, I'll read as many comments as I can, guys, but if you want to be on the show, you know what to do. Pick up the phone and dial this phone number, 702-957-1037. It's a little bit easier that way because we got a lot to get to tonight, and it's hard to read all of the things all of the time. So there we go. Okay, so Science Alert and lettuce, just as safe and nutritious grown in space as it is on Earth. Who knew, right? Okay, so it isn't a Troubled Minds show if we don't shit on China. So let's take a moment out of our Science Alert delicious space lettuce, and let's shit on China for a second, shall we? So this is reported, and we talked about this quite a ways back. Check this out. There's some shenanigans going on in China, right? And this is unrelated to coronavirus at this point, but so this is reported on Twitter by China in Focus, and there's the thing here. Let's just play part of this, and you can see what they're talking about. It's a little bit terrifying. So there's an actual doctor here that worked for the Chinese government, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and here is what they did, what he did and said. So let's play some of this, and you guys can see for yourselves. And this is a little bit terrifying. So action.
Surgeon Enver Toti will never forget the day in August 1995 when he removed an organ from someone against their will. It was a hot day in China's hilly Xinjiang region. Toti's chief told him to exit the hospital where he was working and go to an execution site without saying what he would do.
I can see their executed bodies lying down at the slope of the mountains. Maybe 20, I don't know.
Toti said he heard rifles going off at the same time and was told to come in.
And they called me to the side and they briefed me what to do. He said, that one is yours. They said to remove liver and the 2 kidneys.
The prisoner was a Uyghur. Uyghurs are an ethnic, mostly Muslim minority in Xinjiang. Like Chinese Christians, Tibetans, and Falun Gong practitioners, the Chinese regime has also cracked down on Uyghurs.
Then,
okay, so we've talked about the Uyghurs before and the Falun Gong. It was something we've kept close tabs on in China. Now this guy actually says, he goes on in this video. We won't play the whole thing because we got tons of other stuff to get to tonight, but. In brief, he says that he was given this particular patient and told to remove the kidneys, and what else did he say? The liver? I'm not sure what else he said there. So anyway, different organs from this individual. And so he starts doing his thing. He's a surgeon, right? And as he does this, the person starts moving. Yeah, right? I laugh morbidly. But this is what happens. This is what happens in China. We talked about this. Remember, harvesting organs. You can actually go check out on our YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure it's still there. We did when Frank was still here. We did a video talking about this, about how they took prisoners of conscience. They if they don't fall in line with the social credit score, which is a huge speculation by us, and thinking and knowing and what actually happens to you when your social credit score falls below acceptable levels. Well, do you end up in these forced working camps, these re-education camps? And then if you fail in that, then what happens? They pull you out and maybe give you some sort of toxic cocktail to knock you out, or half knock you out, and they pull out your kidneys and sell them on the black market. Disgusting. Like this is what's happening, right? And this is supposedly a whistleblower, and the surgeons just say, hey, why don't you just take these people and cut them open and get the parts out of them that we need, because that's the way we roll. That's the way we roll, right? And so anyway, I did link it if you guys want to check it out. It's from a Twitter account, and Twitter's not all bad, not all entirely terribly bad, but there's some good stuff on there sometimes. So don't completely shit on Twitter. Just save your energy and shit on China instead. Ask why this stuff is happening, and why that we're talking about. We're not talking about this. Why this is not the top of the news cycle. I think this is the thing that bothers me the most, right? Is a lot of this stuff that we talk about is literally comic book villain terrifying type stuff, right? Scary, literally like the government moving in and just doing what they want with you. People are like commodities, and it's terrible, right? And they're just killing at will and whatever. But this is happening in the world. Like this is not a joke. This is not a bad movie. This is reality. Like this is that upside down that we live in. And here we go. We got a whistleblower saying he was forced to actually cut out organs from living subjects because they didn't fit the social mold, the social model there. The Uyghurs, as they're called, are actually Muslims, like they live in China, right? So they've rounded them up. They put them in re-education camps, and apparently, if they don't toe the line, then this is what happens to them. And so there's been some documents that have leaked out, and China has, of course, denied that this is the case, and on. But as this stuff happens and it disappears from the news cycle, you got to wonder, why does it disappear from the news cycle, and why aren't we talking about it? And Like, why does China have such a huge sway on the media, on the Western media, that should be reporting these things? I think that's a good question. But yeah, all right, let's see. What's up, Eric? Hashtag shit on China. Yeah, that's what we do. Let's see. What else? Okay, so there we go. I think that does it. Let's see. We're about right. Okay, so let's move on to a next news article here. What's up, Timothy? Thanks for showing up. Timothy at Tinfoil University on YouTube. What's up, my man? We got, let's see. Eric says, put it in dry ice and let Newman transport it. A rat race movie. I never saw that. Let's see. Okay. All right, there we go. So let's move on. This is an interesting one. Check this out. This is reported today. I saw this today. As like I said, the news is piping hot today. Everything's brand new. And this is, if everybody remembers Skinwalker Ranch, let's go from shitting on China to it's a little bit of a paranormal, creepy, whatever's happening with Skinwalker. Bob Bigelow actually owned the ranch for several years and was doing some tests, like some UFO tests, some paranormal tests. Remember, we talked about the whistleblowers, Chris Marks, and I can't remember his friend's name there. He had another associate that he worked with at Skinwalker. And they did some experiments, and it was some weird stuff, right? They talked about Ouija boards, and they talked about lights in the sky, and they talked about the wolves that were like phantom ghost wolves that you shot with a shotgun and nothing happened to them. Just some weird, really, really weird stuff happening over there. And that was Skinwalker Ranch under Bigelow, Robert Bigelow of Bigelow Aerospace, very famous in the UFO community. And so he sold the ranch, and so those experiments supposedly stopped. Well, this individual, so this is reported by Vice.com, and this is the real estate magnate who bought Skinwalker Ranch, a UFO hotspot. So Brandon Fugal bought the infamous ranch, Utah ranch, from aerospace billionaire Robert Bigelow back in 2016. And so it was quiet, right? The entire thing was it sold to an unknown individual, but now for whatever reason he's coming out of the woodwork. He says, "Yep, I'm the guy who bought the ranch." And there's some. This is an interesting article. It's an interview with the guy. He says, "I'll tell you the truth," to the reporter here, and basically he says that he's continuing the scientific aspect of this, and he says that information from Bigelow was not passed over to him, and they're doing their own research and they're trying to get to the bottom of this. But they've set up an entirely new. What would you say, like a command center that has cameras, like state-of-the-art cameras all over in different areas of the ranch and different hotspots. So they're actually cataloging these things, like these anomalous activities, which, as many of us know, if you've listened to our Skinwalker Ranch episode or lived on the internet at all and were interested in this type of thing, there's tons of stuff that happens there. It's the Skinwalker is supposedly a shapeshifter. It's some sort of maybe interdimensional thing. It's been around for a long time. The Native American community knows a lot about it, so it's been there. And is it UFO? Is it poltergeist? Is it who knows, right? Like, is it a spirit? Nobody knows. Like, these things are so bizarrely intertwined and kind of end up in this one spot, this one hot spot that does a lot of things. If you want to, this would be, if you wanted to take all your sweet gear and go look for ghosts and UFOs and stuff, this would be the place, right? So at least the individual that bought it, this again, Brandon Fugal from Utah, he bought this thing, and they're doing, here, let's see if we can find a picture here of the actual, there we go. There's the state-of-the-art command center right there. And so they have cameras everywhere now, and they're actually cataloging this stuff and trying to do a hopefully a better job than Bob Bigelow did by sending people up there and using them as human experiments, like Chris Marks, the whistleblower, has claimed. But so he says that this information is going to be cataloged. They're going to try and scientifically analyze and eventually release it to the public. So he's, So anyway, check it out. It's a great interview, pretty good stuff here. And he asked him if he has any theories, right, about what he thinks this is, and he's had any strange experiences. So pretty good stuff here. Do read the article. It just hit today. Amazing stuff. So we know the guy that came out with this. I did see some snarky guy on Twitter. He's a debunker. What's up if you're out there? You're debunking us. No problem. I love you, whoever you are. I'm not going to shout you out by name because whatever. But the guy on Twitter said about this. Well, if he's not going to try and turn this into like a commercial site, why did he trademark Skinwalker Ranch and all this other stuff. So again, right, the controversy starts, and the guy says that he's only interested in the science that it can bring, but he's not going to turn it into like a Wally World of Utah or something like that, where you get to show up and get your own EVP recorder and your map, and you get to go on the ranch. He says he's not going to do that. He's not going to turn it into like the amateur ghost hunters wet dream. It's not happening. So we'll see what happens and how this actually shakes out. But so it's no longer a mystery who bought this, and the guy that says he did it is he's doing it for science. So there we go. There we go. The secret is out. The secret is out. Let's see. Todd, what's up? Todd says America is the world's greatest threat. You just got put on a list. What's up, Joanne? Thanks for showing up tonight. We got Candy. Hello. We got who else do we got? We got Larry. What's up? I am Groot. You can be Groot. I'm not Groot. Let's see. Eric says, hey, Mike, I sent a message on Discord. Check it for me if you can. Yep, I will check in just a sec when I can. Okay, and then there we go. So there we go. Do check this article out. Did I link it? Yeah, okay, did. I linked it. You guys can follow up on me. And there we go. All right, so here's another thing. This is local to us in Nevada, right? Nevada. Not Nevada, Nevada. This is reported by KTNV, which is Channel 13 here in Las Vegas. And so kind of in line with the coronavirus and the rest of this, right? What to do if you see price gouging due to COVID-19, which is the coronavirus, according to Nevada's Attorney General. So, we've seen these articles where they're talking about, hand sanitizer going for $100 and, this type of thing, right? All the commodities that are in high demand right now, like the toilet paper, like one more time, like I was teasing in Discord today. What the hell's going on with the toilet paper? Can anybody explain that to me? Can anybody, like, I understand water, I understand food, I understand bullets, right? Like, I get it. Okay, I'm with you. Okay, bullets is a little extreme, but you see what I'm saying? Like, there's some quarantine action there where you're gonna stock up on food, stock up on water. But what the hell with the toilet paper, people? Is it like everybody only has like 2 rolls in the house ever, and so they're like, well, since we can't go to the store every single day, we're gonna just buy up a pallet of toilet paper? Can anybody explain that to me, please? I'm confused. I had to go buy some just because all the wackos in Vegas are going and cleaning out the stores. Apparently it's happening everywhere. But I just don't understand. I mean, you want to be like squeaky clean for the apocalypse? I don't know. Anyway, if anybody knows and can explain the toilet paper phenomenon to me, I would love to know. You know how to do that? You pick up the phone, you call me, 702-957-1037. That's the phone number. You can click the Discord link. You can find both of those on troubledminds.org, the official website. But yeah, what's going on with the toilet paper, right? Can anybody please? All right, so anyway, so this is, again, back to the report here. They have, if there's price gouging happening here in Nevada, you can actually call the phone number. There's a phone number here. Call the Attorney General's office at 775-684-1100 or file a report at the Attorney General's website, complaints, and file complaints. So if they catch businesses here price gouging for these types of things, the hot commodities, they're going to do something about it. They're going to prosecute people, right? They're going to investigate at least. So as long as society doesn't break down in the meantime. But interesting, right? Pretty good stuff. I saw this and I was impressed. I was impressed because, well, usually this kind of runs amok, and it's the dirtiest thing to do. You see these things happen when, like, you get a tornado or something in the Midwest, and these there's nowhere for people to stay, and so these little hotels jack up their prices but times 10 because they can, right? Like that's the dirtiest of the dirty thing to do. Like, come on, for crying out loud. Like, have some humanity, people. But yeah, so anyway, you can report this, and yeah, there you go. If you live in Nevada, now you know what to do. Contact the Attorney General's office, and they will smack down price gouging. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Cough on the business owner, says Joe. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, Eric says this is exactly my point. Toilet paper. Worst case, you get a shower after, right? Well, assuming there's water. I guess assuming there's water. But I mean, yeah, okay, so price gouging, you know what to do. But again, somebody explain toilet paper to me. This will be the recurring theme through the entire coronavirus COVID-19 business as this shakes out over the next several weeks and months. So we'll revisit toilet paper, and somebody can explain it to me. Or if you can explain it tonight, I'm waiting. Let's see. What else do we got? Okay, so one more, and then we'll move on to the rest of the stuff tonight, and look at maybe was the coronavirus, the COVID-19 predicted with Clade X, right? That's a tabletop exercise. We'll talk about that in just a sec. One more news article, and then we will do that. All right, now check this out. We talk about artificial intelligence on this show, right? This is reported by hbs.edu. What school is this? What school is this? You know how they use these weird shorten the sky. Okay, whatever. There it is. There's the link. Okay, so warring algorithms could be driving up consumer prices, right? So has anybody ever worked in a retail store? I have, and they typically these big box retail stores they do this competitive price matching, right? And so they change their prices on a daily basis, and things go up, things go down. It's very much like the stock market on more a mini by item type basis, by commodity, right? So let's say everybody in the whole town drops the price of rice to extremely cheap. If they're not on the tip of that, then they don't sell any rice that week. So they have to be competitive, and so they have these big box stores have this, and they do this, right? And of course, what do? They do it with algorithms. Well, these guys are saying, business research for business leaders, they're saying that these algorithms that are doing these price changes could actually be driving prices up instead of down, right? So instead of being competitive against each other, maybe these things are working together. So these automated price adjusting software programs might also be catching the eye of government regulators and antitrust authorities. So maybe this is something to look at. Maybe I thought it was interesting because it was new, and because I've worked in a retail store in the past, and I know how they change prices every damn day, literally every damn day, right? You get the next guy down the street goes on sale, and everybody changes their damn prices. Pretty crazy stuff. But so this is what would you call this? Price fixing, right? You would call this algorithmic price fixing. No, they would never do that, right? They would never do that to us. just like they would never price gouge in a hurricane or a pandemic. No, they would never do that, right? No. Yeah, okay. There we go. All right. So as we go, we're going to get to Clade X in just a sec. If you guys have comments on this and you want to talk about this, you got your take on whatever's happening tonight, which so far has been the news and some shout outs, but we're going to get to Clade X. We're going to get to up to date coronavirus news today and only today, just the news today and what the hell's happening. And I want to hear from you. If you guys have some things happening in your neck of the woods that is not being reported in the national news, this is why we do this live. This is why we get together. This is why we talk about this. This is called transparency. If you think I'm full of crap, look at my links. If you want to call in and argue with me, you're welcome to. Of course, it's not productive, but we can disagree. It's called transparency. It's the thing. Like I always say, try and pick up the phone and call the government, especially after hours. You'll never get anybody. You pick up the phone right now and you call, you'll get me. We can have a nice conversation. I promise I'll be nice. I've been nice to everybody the whole history of the show, except for that one guy, and he knows who he is. And it was a misunderstanding. So there we go. Everybody knows the alien nipples guy. Okay, so all right, there we go. Let's see. Reading some comments, scanning through. Let's see. Yeah, Eric, what's up? I did notice this. Eric says legit cheaper flights if you look like you're in another country. Complete BS. Wait, is that what's happening? No, I did see that the flights are super cheap because nobody wants to fly, right? What's up, Sherry? Thanks for showing up. I see you there. Let's see. We got a phone call coming in. We'll take that in just a sec. What's up, Elizabeth? I see you on YouTube. Let's see. Who else did I miss? We got Nils. What's happening? Makeshift face mask. Yeah, make your own face mask. We got Penny. Thanks for showing up. Penny from the UK. Penny, follow Penny Bunny on YouTube, guys. Good channel. We got Zach. How you doing, buddy? We got C. Pete. We're all set. We're ready to go. Agreed. Who else did I miss? Any more shout outs? Let's see. Bailey says, I'm disagreeing with you so much right now, Michael. That's all right. We're allowed. We're allowed. We can still be friends. Okay, we have a caller. We're going to take this caller, and we will continue on with Clade X. We'll get Sean on from Canada in just a sec. He's going to join us for the rest of the show. And here we go. Let's take this call. What's up? Joe from Florida. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How you doing, my man? What's on your mind tonight?
Not too bad, man. I haven't called you guys for a while because I've been busy at work. But I got to give you not a statistic, but a personal observation. So 2 years ago, when the regular flu was pretty bad, it was the end of 2018. We were busy. I mean, we did just being another director, did over 300 calls. That's what they would call the call volume. And, you keep your head down. You're just seeing families. You're doing paperwork, getting overtime, getting paid, not realizing it because you don't always see the cause of death. the death certificates. We don't always look at that. But it was a lot of elderly people. There was some young people, but it was a mix. So it's really strange because, like, 2019 hits, January, February, it was like somebody shut the switch off. Somebody just shut the switch and we got slow or back to average. Okay. Now, start talking about it, and I got a friend of mine, who's a doctor, at one of those walk-in clinics, and it's a nationwide walk-in clinic. Anyway, we're talking about it because we joke around about this shit all the time, and he tells me that they didn't sell as many flu shots. You know, and A, we know medicine's an industry, but B, you know, he's got his quotas like we supposedly have our quotas, even though if I don't meet my quota, I can't go ambulance chasing and kill somebody. But he was saying that the flu statistically was less last year, and this is regular flu, and he was selling or doing less flu shots than last year. We were less busy also. Now this year, we've got regular flu, and then we've got this corona thing going on. I have been busy at work, not because of coronavirus, but I have been busier at work. Statistically, because flu is a little bit worse this year, and we're seeing those numbers. You know, so just not to panic, but I've gotten some food here and there. Haven't gotten a lot of toilet paper, but
it's you. You did this. You're the one causing this problem.
Yeah. Well, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, I live in Pinellas County, so that's a whole other thing. I got a friend of mine. She showed a picture of the Sam's Club, Walmart Sam's Club, and I thought that was a joke. I honestly thought that was bullshit. She showed pictures of the paper section, and they were about out. They were about out of toilet paper, and that was kind of nuts. But here's the thing. For those of us that are listening here, that, you know, we might be skeptical, we like talking about it, but even though it may not be that bad, it may attack older people, you still want to be prepared, because I don't want to be in line with a bunch of maniacs dealing with mass hysteria when I just want to get a fucking glass of milk, you know, and some donuts. So I've had to stock up. And then the other thing is I've got a kid that's got Crohn's disease, so he is immunocompromised. That's a danger, and he's going to school right now. On tonight's news at 11 o'clock, there are 2 cases of confirmed in Pinellas County, and that's in Clearwater area. Those 2 people have gone abroad. My wife, she had to pack a bag. She works at a nursing home. They quietly told her, pack a bag. Starting tomorrow, everybody gets temperature checked coming into that nursing home. She could get stuck there. The only thing she won't let me do is she gets stuck. She won't let me get a hall pass. I asked her for a hall pass if she's stuck in a nursing home. She said absolutely not. But besides that, because we have to joke about shit, it's very serious.
Yeah.
You know, especially for nursing homes.
Exactly.
You know,
let's put it this way.
We should all err on the side of caution. Here's my other thing, and I'm sorry. When it comes to China, and this is going to get geopolitical, and I think we can all agree, if this hasn't taught us anything, it should teach us that our supply line is so fucking weak, because every goddamn thing is made in China. And here's the thing. If saline solution is made in China, okay, medicine's made in China, okay, those asshats, who the fuck knows what they're sending us, okay? And any government, any president, any party should be looking to start sourcing those jobs back in this country, or in Canada, at least, some Western world that's responsible. After this bullshit, China should be left in the dustbin of the ages. They should just be gone. They should be left to a backwater.
Hold on, man.
You really want to shit on? You really want to shit on China? That's what should be done.
There you go.
And who the hell knows if this isn't some kind of revenge for Trump playing hardball with them? Who the hell knows if this is some bullshit because Trump's playing hardball?
There's a whole lot of
nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Geopolitical, like it seems like there's something afoot here. Like some people have speculated that it's possible. You know, China had that one child policy for a very long time, and so they're population right now is disproportionately older folks. And so there's been some speculation that they released this thing intentionally to maybe start to cull some of the older folks. They've recently, I think it was 3 years back, they actually relaxed that one-child policy. But for a very long time they had that. It was bad news over there. It still is bad news. It's just a different type of bad news. And so I don't know if I believe all of these different conspiracies, but there's some of the things, MK Ultra and the CIA working with the media, and some of the things where the government is not really kind of looking out for the best interest of the people all the time, right? They kind of use this as again, commodities or scapegoats, the fall guy, whatever it is, right? Like that, it's part of what they do. So it kind of makes you wonder, right? Like these things exist. These things are documented. And so you see that we talked about China just earlier, like cutting out organs from living people. I mean, yeah, man, who knows? Like that's why, right? Like this is like I always say, comic book supervillain type stuff. Yeah, but who knows? Like if you treat your people like that and butcher them in the streets, you weld them into their homes and then just pick up the corpses after they're dead. That's what's happening over there. I mean, who knows?
And that's true. I mean, I always joke. I joke with my kids and stuff because I'm kind of a hermit. I have my set ways, but I'm like, you get older and you go to Mexico, you might wake up in a bathtub full of ice missing a kidney, but it's the truth. I mean, and as a funeral director, I'm going to tell you this, okay? I made a comment on the site earlier, but in this country, civilization, last week I had two bodies go to LifeLink, and they basically take the body while it's still warm, supposedly, it's hopefully dead, but while it's still warm, and they take long bones, they do organ donation. Now, that's probably for science. It's definitely not going to be for transplanting, but it's for science. However, there is a huge black market in this country of funeral homes that are independently owned typically, where they sell organs on the black market, and that's just here in the black market, which is scary with all the rules and regulations we got here. I mean, China, I'm sure it's done all the time, and they treat the Uyghurs like shit. I mean, they treat them like shit, fall in line. So, yeah, I mean, granted, we shouldn't judge, I guess, too much on people's human rights because we're not so perfect here either, but we definitely have a responsibility to maybe do less business with them for the safety of the Western world. If this hasn't woken up anybody, if this hasn't woken up any of our future political leaders, I don't know what will.
Wait. So here's the thing. Just in that vein, this is the crazy part. So if think about this, those cruise ships, right, off the coast of California, right? They didn't know what to do with them. If this was China, they'd just sunk that sucker, right? They'd have been like, oh well, we just had there was a terrible accident. We hit an iceberg in the port, right? Like that's what would have happened. So I mean, like to not cast stones because we're not perfect with our human rights. It's night and day, man. It is night and day. So
well, if the boat sinks, can we play some Celine Dion?
Yeah, we may as well, right? You may as well. Like morbidly at this point, you may as well. All right, hey, we got to get moving, Joe. We got stuff to get to. But anything else while we got you on real quick?
Have a good night, guys.
Appreciate it, man. That's Joe from Florida. There you go. Appreciate the call, my man. See, smart people listen to this show. It's not just you. There's other people. All right, we're gonna bring in Sean from Canada. He's gonna fill in tonight for whoever, for Ash. Ash is gone. Ash has got some things to take care of, so he's gonna be out for a little while. Not sure exactly how long, but we're gonna make do. We're gonna make do with each other. But here we go. We got Sean from Canada. What's up, my man? Our favorite Canadian. Welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
Not too bad. How about yourself, Mike?
Doing well. Thank you. Let's adjust your volume perfectly. Okay. So, we're I was talking to Sean earlier today on Discord, and as typically people do on Discord, it's one of those nice mediums that we can do that with. And he was like, "Hey, what's on the show?" I was like, "I can't tell you." And he's like, "Oh, come on." I was like, "No, you gotta tune in." And then he was persistent. And I was like, "All right, well, here's the deal." And he's all right, dude, I love that. I'd love to be part of that. And I'm like, "Dude, what? Well, all right, fine. Let's do this. So I appreciate the help. I appreciate the enthusiasm. And we're talking about Greek mythology tonight. We're going to end up with one of the Greek myths, one of the ones that maybe you guys probably know or don't know so well, but we're going to end there. So if you're not into the coronavirus stuff, we're going to blow through that next hour or so, and then we'll get to some Greek mythology and hopefully tie it all in with what's happening today and with the coronavirus, Clade X, and everything else. Yeah, so there we go. That's how this shook out. And again, this is the thing, right? This is the beauty of this. Like, I met Ash on this show, right? I met Sean on this show. Kelly, Todd, so many good people have been on this show that we met doing this show. And so literally from the beginning, the entire idea was we want to crowdsource this sucker. We want to do this together. We want this to be our show collectively and together. And I feel honored and blessed that you guys are enthusiastic and part of it. And thank you for being here tonight, Sean, as part of that enthusiasm and everything else. Good stuff, man. Good stuff, my man. Do you want to a little intro before we continue on with Clade X and the rest of this, or anything? Any takes on what we talked about tonight so far?
Well, I have to say about the TP thing. It's just too funny. Actually, one of my friends on Facebook kind of put it on there that it might be the 5G line control.
Wait, so 5G? Okay, explain that. I've seen that kicked around. I don't quite understand. So 5G is somehow related to.
Apparently, it's one of those cover-up psyops where anywhere that gets 5G or something like, and they end up the U.S. military or whatever, or whoever's military is basically saying to all these people, go for the TP or whatever.
Okay, I see. So this is some sort of psyop, some sort of like actual like buzzing it into our brains like by the TP, right? Like maybe let's see if we can make them do this, and they do this, even though it kind of doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand.
Exactly.
There's some weirdness to it, that's for sure.
It definitely is 100%. The only thing is that shoot. I had my train of thought and I just lost it.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I got you. Okay, so we're going to get to Clade X in a sec. So what you're saying is there's some sort of maybe this is a psyop, maybe 5G related, maybe they're kind of trolling us, and if they told us to buy a bunch of I don't know, like tents, camping tents, like we'd clear out the tents, condoms, whatever, like whatever commodity it might be. You're saying that there's some way that they're able to do this. I have seen people have talked about this.
Kind of beginning steps.
Yeah. Okay. I see. So I have seen people
test the product.
Yeah. I guess so. So that means that there's some sort of mind control, like MK Ultra type thing going on here. I don't know. Now, oddly enough, people I keep seeing this pop up in like Reddit and some other places where they talk about is 5G related to the coronavirus and these other things. I'm not so sold on that. If anybody can make that case, we'll do that in the future and maybe look at it, as well as flat Earth and the rest of the things, right? Maybe all these things, we may not believe them, but I think they're worth talking about. They're worth exploring anyway. So, all right, so let's move on here. Got tons of good comments, tons of good calls. Again, if you guys want to be on the show, you know what to do, 702-957-1037, putting the phone number up there. And let's move on. Let's get into Clade X. Now, what is Clade X, right? Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this, Sean?
Yes, I have. Actually, I watched the video on the coronavirus that they had as tabled pandemic. And it's actually kind of interesting that there is such a correlation between what happened at that round table and what is happening now.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought we'd start there. Okay, now let's first talk about what Clade actually means. Now here we go. I'm going to link this, and you guys can check this out. This is the Center for Healthsecurity.org. And what Clade actually means, and I thought it fitting that we started with the Greek, because we're going to end with the Greek myth, the mythologies. We're going to get to that at the end of this, so I thought it a little bit fitting that we could start this way. So Clade actually means, C-L-A-D-E, from ancient Greek is klados, meaning branch, is a group of organisms that consists of a common ancestor and all its lineal descendants, representing a single branch on the tree of life. That's what a clade is. So Clade X, meaning some sort of a organism, virus, some sort of bacteria, some sort of a pandemic causing thing. So in this case, you can say Clade X would be clade, an organism and a variable, right? It could have been clade Y or Z or A or B or C or whatever. But in this case,
just like with mutant X.
Yeah, exactly. But in this case, this was actually so it was called Clade X, and this was a tabletop exercise. Now I got some stuff to actually illustrate what a tabletop exercise is, and this may blow your mind if you guys haven't heard of this. So here we go. I'm linking this, and you guys can follow along as usual. There's the links in the chat. And here we go. So Clade X, this is from the Center for Health Security.org again. And here, let's just play some of this on what this actually is. So Clade X was here we go. I'm gonna just let Microsoft Mike read some of this because I need to take a drink of beer and catch my breath. And here we go. Let's read this and action.
Clade X is a day-long pandemic tabletop exercise that simulated a series of National Security Council convened meetings of 10 U.S. government leaders, played by individuals prominent in the fields of national security or epidemic response. Drawing from actual events, Clade X identified important policy issues and preparedness challenges that could be solved with sufficient political will and attention. These issues were designed in a narrative to engage and educate the participants and the audience. Lessons learned were distilled and shared broadly following the exercise.
Okay, so that's what Clade X is. It was a day-long pandemic tabletop exercise. And so it was a tabletop exercise. We'll get to that in a sec. I got some funny stuff to talk about that. But so basically, it's like a bunch of leaders in the industry, epidemiologists, PhD doctors doing, who knows, like just actual like public health officials, people in the military. They all get together and they say, all right, here's the challenge. We have this challenge. We have these parameters set. Here's the timeline and the timetable, and here's what we're going to do, right? Like you're in charge of this, Jimmy, Johnny, Joey, and Bob, and Sally, and May, and whoever, right? Like they're all in charge of their different things, their different areas of the country. And when they unleash whatever happens, it's in this case, it was a pandemic type virus, which is very much like you would expect, the coronavirus, COVID-19. So very similar, right? Now, this was in May 15th, 2018 is when this happened. Think about that. May 15th, 2018. And this was supposedly, so they were supposed to be able to get together and talk about this and actually be able to come up with ways that they can stop these things, where they can stop a pandemic like this, like COVID-19, right? So I think that's where we're at here. Again, this was at the Tuesday, May 15th, 2018, at the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Washington, D.C. So a little bit synchronicity there, maybe.
Oh, totally.
Right? Something with that. Okay, so anything there on Clade X real quick? I got some more I can read before we move on and talk about what an actual tabletop exercise means, right? That was a brief summary of that, but there's an actual good examples of what it is, and I've got some funny examples too. So anything else real quick before we move into the next spot there?
Actually, when I first was watching this video, I was expecting people to pull out like player has his handbook and some dice and start rolling to see, oh yes, we make it, but we're gonna take a hit on our GDP. Yeah.
So that's part of it, right? Does it affect what happens to the economy? What happens to everything, right? This is part of the whole deal. They're supposed to be able to take all of the real world situations and be able to boil it down and have plans for this, right? That's the idea. And did they do a good job? Who knows? Here's a list of the people that were there, by the way. So the exercise team. I did link it in the thing, but I'm gonna just copy and paste it in real quick, and you guys can see a list of the doctors, a list of the people that were part of this. Like, what the hell is all this, right? And there's all the folks. There's all the folks that are supposed to be able to save us from the pandemic. Bam. Okay, so at the bottom of that page. But yeah, you're totally right. And so not just GDP, not just like everything. Like, how do we stop it from spreading if people get on a cruise ship? Like, these are the types of things they should be able to come up with, right? Like, how do we handle this?
100%.
How do we handle this, right? And I actually did hear a for the cruise ship situation, instead of I did hear this on the radio a couple days ago, which I thought was clever as hell. Instead of sinking it like China might, instead of pulling people out from the ship and like sending them all over the country, right, with a highly infectious disease, why didn't they turn it into like a hospital ship and just kind of dock that sucker and bring the hospital to them? I just don't understand. Like, there's some options, right? And those are the types of things that should have come about with, professional epidemiologists, actual PhDs in this. Anyway, okay, whatever.
The only thing is that they didn't take an account for cost wise, because you just have to think of it this way: how much do you have to spend in transportation to bring all the medical supplies over? The doctors that are going to have unpaid hours, like, are you going to pay them or are you not going to pay them?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where the emergency funds come in, which has been, the part of the big political fight. Like, I think at this point, the money kind of doesn't make sense. It doesn't really matter, like, how much money we spend, in my opinion, because we blow money every day on everything. Like, who cares, right? It's like
but the only thing is, it doesn't perpetuate the gears of war.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true. That's true.
As unfortunate as it is, the only way that you advance your civilization currently right now with the system is by financing the gears of war. You keep the war machine going. Therefore, your advancements will be much more vast, especially in medical, engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, there's a lot more than just this, right? There's a many different things that you'd have to take into account, which is part of why they do these things early, right? And so, are we failing? Did we learn anything from this? Again, this is 2015. Remember, May 15th, 2018. So yeah, let's read this real quick. This was the purpose of this, and then we'll move on to what an actual tabletop exercise is. There's some great comments in here. We'll read in a sec. Let's let Microsoft Mike read this one more time. Take a swig of beer. We'll move on to what a tabletop exercise is. But this is what the purpose is of them getting together and talking about this, getting leaders in the field, the military, epidemiologists, and all this, right, to maybe counteract something like COVID-19 if it happens. So here we go. So let's read this and we'll move on.
Faced with a rapidly evolving biological threat landscape, government leaders in the United States and abroad are eager to identify long-term policy commitments that will strengthen preparedness and mitigate risk. Clade X illustrated high-level strategic decisions and policies needed to prevent a severe pandemic or diminish its consequences should prevention fail.
Okay, there we go. There's the idea. There's the entire purpose of this thing, and they're trying to figure out what the hell and how the hell to handle it, right? So now what exactly, this is wisegeek.com. Now, what exactly is a tabletop exercise? And I thought this was amusing as hell, right? So it's like, you hear people say this, if you looked at, if you listen to any of this type of talk show, the conspiracy type stuff, you listen to like Clyde Lewis or like Ryan Gable, guys like this, right? Like the smart dudes, they've talked about Clade X, right? Clyde Lewis was talking about Clade X in November. And so, and even before that, and so, there's smart folks that are on top of this. They're kind of on the tip of the spear when it comes to these sorts of things. And but I heard it and was like, okay, a tabletop exercise. It sounds like, I don't know, like a bad D&D game, right? You ever play D&D, Sean? You know what that is?
Yes, actually, I have, and I still kind of do with my daughter.
Okay, all right. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that
no.
It sort of seems like what it is. It's Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like when I was a kid,
almost
right. When I was a kid, I played Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, so anyway, so this is from wisegeek.com. I linked it, and so here we go. I won't make Microsoft Mike read it. I'll read it. So a tabletop exercise is an exercise which is designed to test the theoretical ability of a group to respond to a situation. Emergency services are especially fond of using tabletop exercises to practice for things like natural disasters, and these exercises can be used in a variety of other ways as well. One of the big advantages of a tabletop exercise is that it can allow people to test a hypothetical situation without causing disruption in the community. As for instance, when police officers want to practice their response to a bomb threat. Okay, so there's a good example, right? A bomb threat, police officers, that would be a tabletop exercise, right? And so I pulled up a document from FEMA where they actually have it different type of similar tabletop exercises, and they're for, I got notes here. Let's see, from for an earthquake or for a tornado or an explosion at a furniture factory. Like that's how specific it is.
Explosion at a furniture factory.
I'm not shitting you. I'll link it. I'm not making this shit up. Or a gigantic car accident, right? I'll link that in just a sec. But like these are the types of things that they're let's say the powers that be, the government, the local governments, they're supposed to be on top of these and have contingency plans, right? Well, here we are with Clade X being that contingency plan, that desktop tabletop exercise where they got together and played D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, a role-playing game, right? With a pandemic, and now in hindsight, it seems awful silly, doesn't it? That they supposedly had some answers here, and here we are with an actual pandemic, and there doesn't seem to be any answers.
So if I roll a natural 20, does that protect my country from infection?
Yeah, hopefully, if anybody gets the joke, everybody gets the D&D joke. I mean, yeah, maybe, right? Like, I don't know. I got some funny D&D stuff here that we're going to play in just a sec. But there we go. So that's what an actual tabletop exercise is. So the concept is, it actually points out here. I didn't realize this. It does point out Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, so anyway, let's play this. I know that many of you are familiar with Key and Peele. Anybody know Key and Peele? You know who Key and Peele is, right, Sean?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. This is
Substitute teacher, by far the best.
Okay. So definitely check him out if you don't know. But here we go. So this is I thought, all right, so if it's a bad Dungeons and Dragons game, which is like a role-playing tabletop game, right, where everybody sits around and it's fantasy. It's not even it's not real, right? But we try and immerse ourselves, and we try and use our imaginations. We try and be real. We try and think real. We try and think like we're elves or we're gnomes or we're like if you're in Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings, this type of thing, right? If you're not into this and don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so here we go. I was like, okay, so what does a bad D&D game look like? Well, here we go. Let's let Key and Peele explain what a bad D&D game looks like. Let's play this clip.
Greetings, adventurers.
Greetings.
As you all can see here, we have a new traveler in our ranks. This is my cousin Tyrell, and he will be controlling the player character.
His name is Kanye. He's a giant, yo.
Dear cousin, traditionally, a giant is not assumed by a player. It is a chaotic evil.
Yeah, but I want to be a giant, yo. Or big.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, travelers, you are joined on your adventure today by a giant named Kanye. Now, when last we left you, you were at the Inn of the North Star in the town of Isildur. How do you begin your adventure?
I want to get some bitches. Where the club at Isildur, yeah?
Tyrell, this is highly unusual. I think the guys probably just want to go on the quest that we've already...
Steven?
Yes?
I'd like to join Kanye the Giant in his quest.
Seriously.
There you go. So I got one. So I got one more clip. But so if anybody's ever played Dungeons and Dragons, you know what I'm talking about here. And right, it's so one individual is playing the dungeon master. He's trying to get this thing started right. We're going to start this at the tavern, and we're going to start an adventure, right? And you can script these things out. And like I said, this is kind of like a bad D&D game, right? Like the tabletop exercise, the Clade X. And so if you think of a bad D&D game, if anybody's ever played this, you know that one player that's kind of like a rogue that doesn't really want to play along. It can kind of, like a rogue type of player, not like a rogue like in the game, if you know what I mean, like a rogue, like a thief, not like that, like a renegade player that kind of doesn't want to play along, wants to do his or her own thing. It can derail a game, right? And so, like I said, a bad D&D game. So there we go. That's Key and Peele. That's the first part. Let's listen to the second part. This gets better. So he wants to get some bitches, Kanye the Giant. So excuse the grammar here, the not safe for work. We'll get a little bit more of that as the second clip plays. But you understand. You understand. It's for the sake of comedy. Everybody relax. All right, here we go. So here's part 2 of what a bad D&D game feels and sounds like, and then we'll get back to the tabletop exercise of Clade X, and maybe that was a bad D&D.
I'm just waiting for the giant to go. I got my crunk glass, and let's get crunked.
Oh, you got it. All right, here we go. You're in for a treat if you haven't heard this. Here we go. Part 2, action.
All right. The two of you enter the tavern. What do you say?
Kanye the Giant orders Alizé.
Says the barkeep. I know not of this foreign beverage of which you speak. Perhaps you would enjoy an Elven ale.
No, we both want the Alizé.
Alizé does not exist in this world.
Kanye the Giant slaps that bitch.
Oh! Kanye the Giant attempts to slap the bartender. Here. The bartender is half hobbit and very nimble, so you're going to have to roll an 18 or above to hit. 20.
Blip, slap that hobbit's off, yo.
Okay. Gull the cleric. Would you care to restrain Kanye the Giant before the town guard is called?
I grab money out of the register.
But Gull the cleric is lawful good. This act of thievery would dishonor his gods.
Hey, man, the only guys is money and bitches, dude.
I accept Kanye the Giant's gods, and yeah, I steal some of the money too.
You too. Okay. Would you now like to continue your quest for the lands of Kaldahar?
Fellas, we came here for bitches. Where the bitches at?
All right, you see a bevy of well-endowed wenches.
Great. I grab them bitches, and we all go in my SUV.
Fine. Kanye the Giant, Udar the Dwarf, and Gollum the Cleric climb into his SUV with their bitches and their ill-gotten gains.
And our Alizé. Plus, Kanye the Giant puts his demo CD in the CD.
No, he doesn't. There are no CDs in this world. You know what? Do whatever you want.
So at this point, he gets up and walks away.
I guess I'm the dungeon master now. The Eye of Odin opens up. 16 titties fall out.
There you go. Key and Peele, if you guys haven't heard it, it's like I said, I was like, okay. And great question here. Somebody said, how did this get onto D&D? Well, this is a tabletop exercise, right? This is exactly what Clade X was. And so they got together. And, the epidemiologists and people in the military and, what would you say? Thought leaders, right? Is that the newfangled term? The thought leaders. The thought leaders got together and they played Dungeons and Dragons with a pandemic. And yeah, like somebody said.
2d6 people die.
Yeah, right? Timothy says the game industry is booming for board games. Somebody a ways up said they're playing a board game with our lives, right? And that was kind of the point, right? Anyway, funny if you guys haven't seen that, check it out. Key and Peele, and the video clip is even more funny. I didn't want to play the whole thing because I thought we'd get chopped out for a copyright, but that was the audio. I think it probably illustrates well enough what a bad D&D game is like. But yeah, okay. Anything on that real quick before we move on to the rest of this and COVID-19 and et cetera, so on? Anything else there?
No, I think we can move on.
Okay, all right. You can move on.
I have so many bad D&D jokes. I'm just going to keep them to myself.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so there we go. So that's what a tabletop exercise is. It's basically a game where people get together and it's like a role-playing game, right? Where you have parameters and people try and cut things off at the pass or have contingency plans in real time, right? You're given time limits and this sorts of thing, right? Like there you go, like a bad D&D game. All right, so okay, so so it turns out, so this is from the organicprepper.com, which is just amazing because of the name, right? Organicprepper.com. There we go. So link in this, and you guys can check it out. As always, follow up on me. Don't take my word for it because, well, if you just took my word for it, then I could say whatever I wanted, couldn't I? Let's not do that. We don't do that. We got sources here. We talk about sources. So the Organic Prepper says, so the Clade X simulation shows we are not ready. Here's how a pandemic virus could kill 900 million people. And so that was the high watermark here. I linked it if you guys can check it out. We got tons of stuff to get to, but there you go. There's your link. There's your 900 million was the high water mark of maybe the people that die in this pandemic. Now remember, this is all a simulation, like a tabletop board game type simulation with real world consequences, right? That's kind of the point here. So 900 million people. That's what like a 10th or 11th of the population of the whole world, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Something really gross. I don't know. Maybe an eighth, maybe a ninth. My math is terrible. Don't do math on a live stream. It's bad. But you get it, right? That's a lot of damn people. 900 million people, okay? All right, and so here we go. This is the one I talked about, FEMA. This is from FEMA.gov. And I'm going to link this and you guys can check this out. Again, check it out. There's tons of information here, and you can see in your own time exactly where this comes from and where it's headed. But they've got many, like I think there's 6 or 7 tabletop exercises here in this document. But it's from FEMA, right? Everybody loves FEMA. That's the FEMA camps. That's the Walmart basements, like Frank said back in the day. It's these are the what would you call it? What would you call a FEMA? You know what a FEMA camp is, Sean? Help me out, buddy.
FEMA camp is pretty much a death camp.
There you go. Let's cut to the chase. It's a death camp. It's a death camp.
Short and sweet and simple.
Yeah. So it's like it's where they send you when the hospitals are full, when everybody's on ventilators that could be or should be, and they don't have anywhere to put people that are sick or whatever, right? These are FEMA camps. Anyway, so there we go.
Or any type of disaster.
Exactly. Like the disaster camps. Disaster. Anyway, it's part of Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. We've talked about this. We'll get into that in depth in another time, but I did want to link this and check it out. So FEMA does have a tabletop exercises. And again, like I said, let's real quick, just the first 4 in this. I think there's 6 or 7 in this. A huge doc, 249 pages. They have an earthquake, tornado, and the explosion at the furniture factory, and then they have the car accident, like the gigantic car accident, right, in a local capacity. But these are the types of things, right? So these are how they get together. There's your tabletop exercise, blah blah, that I mentioned earlier. All right, here we go. So here's Clade X. Let's see. So here's the individuals that are there, blah blah, so on and so forth. Let's see. So what's the summary? Let's see. What did I get this? I had this link for a reason. Let's see. This is for. Okay, so here's the. Remember, this is all fake. This is Clade X is a made up virus that is they're trying to find a way to cut off at the pass. They're trying to find a way to combat this, to make it so it doesn't kill 900 million people, right? Which is the high watermark of deaths according to this scenario. So this is what they've learned, right? In the year-long process of developing the exercise, we identified a number of learning objectives we were derived from the actual disease outbreaks in recent years. The following themes were built into the Clade X scenario. First one, some epidemics evolve very rapidly. Yeah, no shit. Number 2.
Mutation.
Yeah. If anybody's played that game, what's that game? That mobile game? Plague Incorporated. You know what we're talking about. Okay, number 2. A moderately contagious and moderately lethal respiratory virus can lead to a catastrophic pandemic. I'm going to read that slowly one more time. A moderately contagious and moderately lethal respiratory virus can lead to a catastrophic pandemic. Weird. Some parallels here,
all
aren't
over
there?
again.
Weird. Again, remember, this is May 15th, 2018 when they talked about this. So this continues. Rapid diagnostic tests are not available for novel pathogens. Huh. Interesting. You see that all over the news, right? The mainstream media. There's not enough testing kits. We can't get them out fast enough. What's going on, right? You got any of that going up there in Canada, Sean? They're talking about testing kits?
Yeah, we have some people in Ontario, a few people in BC. East Coast has got a couple of cases. And apparently Alberta just got their first case.
Their first kit?
No, their first case of
first case.
COVID-19.
Okay. Got you. So it is, but it's spreading. But do they have testing kits available for the country, for the entire country of Canada?
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
I haven't taken that good of a look, but as far as I know,
they can't make them fast enough.
That are coming out.
Yeah, the answer is no. They just can't make it fast enough. Yeah, totally. Okay, so anyway, a few more of this. We will. Hang in there. Hang in there, Johnson. We're going to get to the mythology in a minute here. So, okay, so this is again, Clade X tabletop exercise. This is some of the things that they've determined were going to be difficult to deal with in these instances, right? So you would think that, epidemiologists would have a plan for this, right? There would be, I think this like I said, a bad D&D game doesn't do anything if you don't have like a legislature that works together. If you don't have local and federal governments that can actually get together and make these things happen, that's kind of the point. That's kind of my point of reading through this and pointing out Clade X as a thing in 2018 that suddenly a short 2 years, not even 2 years, right? That would be like a year and a half later. Like we have nearly this exact thing happening, a moderately contagious and moderately lethal respiratory virus. Right? Like crazy. Anyway, key themes that emerge, medical countermeasures, and global health security, blah, blah, right? So as well as intentioned as this stuff is, if we can't take this information and do something with it instead of politicizing it and acting like babies and buying up all the toilet paper, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm more talking about the powers that be, the governments, right? Local and federal governments. That's what I'm talking about. If we can't work together, we can't stop this. Like this, we're at the mercy of this. And so there we go. So again, Clade X, this is fake.
Exactly.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just I'm agreeing with you that if the governments don't cooperate or anything like that, of course the pandemic is going to get worse, not work.
Yeah.
But as as a whole, the governments won't work with each other because of the fact of past strifes, and also the fact that it's not as interesting or politically get behind.
Yeah, and it's weird, right? Like people, like we like to say that we want to do the right thing, but then when something happens like this, like nobody's doing the right thing, right? You see the finger pointing. They're blaming each other. They're saying you didn't act fast enough. But like, who was talking about this? Like, if you go back to early January, who was talking about COVID-19? Who was talking about the coronavirus? We were. Like I ignored it for a week because I was like, this is going to blow over like SARS.
Yeah, it was going to be short-lived or something like that. But the thing is because there's that mass almost hypnosis where it just like disappears.
What do you mean? Elaborate, please.
Like with SARS and stuff like that, or Ebola, it's like it was around for a week or two or something like that, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared, and no one remembers how it started, why it started, and what was done to.
Yeah. So okay. So you're saying they sweep it under the rug. So if it's not if it doesn't kill everybody, the media can just make it go away. It's like a psyop. It's like a SARS never existed because we don't want it to exist anymore. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, yeah, but more so on the population side, where it's just this mass hypnosis through like the next Big Brother or something like that, where they make more the characters on the show more extravagant or something like that. They just take away that focus from where it should be.
Right. So standard psyop though, like the means are kind of it's the same end, right? It depends on how you do it, but there's many ways to do it. I get you. I see what you're saying. I follow you. Okay, let's keep on trucking here. We got to get to the news of the day for where we're at with coronavirus, and then we'll get to that Greek mythology. Promise, guys, Greek myths tonight. We're going to get to that, and hopefully it'll relate to what we're talking about. All right, so anyway, here we go. I linked this. This is Business Insider. This is talking about Clade X. It's more of the same. I'm not going to drag you through the mud on this and read every detail, but There we go. Again, a disease could kill 900 million people. Blah blah. Bad D&D game. Tabletop exercise. There's some good clips here. Let's play some of these clips real quick, and then we'll move on to the news of the day, and then we'll get to the Greek mythology. So this is they simulated this. Now this was the Clade X pandemic exercise, right? And they actually had videos, like fake news reports of this actual fake pandemic, right? This Clade X was the name of this thing. Again, this is fake. This is a fake news report. These are fake people. But let's play this. There's 2-3 of them, and they're like a minute long. So, but this is what they were talking about when it was being reported back in May 15th or in May of 2018. So let's play this and action.
New information is coming in about the Clade X virus. Let's go right to our medical reporter, Emily Schmidt, for details. Emily?
Gene, anonymous U.S. government sources have told GNN that the genetic sequences of Clade X from the initial Frankfurt case reveal the virus has some genetic elements of the Nipah virus mixed in with the para-influenza genes. Nipah is a rare tropical disease. It's related to para-influenza, but it has a high lethality in humans. Human outbreaks of Nipah are uncommon. The largest outbreaks have happened in Bangladesh between 2001 and 2003, with a 70% death rate. Some experts have speculated on social media that this new virus may not have occurred naturally. They suspect the virus escaped from a laboratory researching a vaccine for Nipah. Others say it is probably occurring naturally, and there may have been some exchange of genetic elements between the viruses. CDC and WHO cannot confirm these reports and say they have no evidence of a laboratory mishap or that the virus is a biological weapon.
Did you catch that? Did you hear what that woman said? Remember, that was fake.
Well, this is a lot of people have been saying it.
This is a fake virus. And this was, again, 2018, May 2018 when they did this. There's some alarming parallels there, isn't there?
Oh, there is. Like, I don't know exactly which clips are in there that you have, but a lot of them run pretty parallel to what's happening right now, and it's actually scary.
It is. This is a little bit frightening. So let's run through more of these again. A couple clips that are really short, and we'll get to the news of the day with what's actually happening out there. We want to hear from you guys. Remember, this is not just Sean and I yucking it up. We want to include you.
We want to hear from you, people.
There you go. 702-957-1037. That's the phone number. Join the Discord. You can find both of those, the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org, the official website. Go there, check it out, do the things, be the things, get on this show. Let us know what you think. We want to know what's happening in your neck of the woods. If we have to go long tonight, so be it, because this is important to get out. Because think about it. Like I said in the beginning of this, the mainstream media doesn't do a good job of actually accumulating the data from local news sources like they should, right? Everything's all propaganda all the time, and they could give a damn if we have the information we need to protect ourselves and our families and our loved ones, right? They don't care. They do not care. And so it's important that at least in this medium, we have an open forum. And Eric says he wants to call from Pittsburgh. Call, buddy. Do call. We want to hear what's going on in your neighborhood, in this country, and in Canada, and everywhere, wherever you're at. If anybody's out there from Italy, we want to hear from you. What's going on over there? I've heard they've locked down the entire damn country. That's what's being reported in the media. All of Italy, the entirety of Italy was being locked down. Somebody says here in chat that Christopher says a little birdie told him that the Pentagon is preparing for 20 million dead over 2 years. There you go. There you go.
Wouldn't be that much of a stretch.
Yeah, I don't think so. Especially again, we're gonna blow through the news from today's news on the coronavirus in just a sec. So let's play a couple more of these clips. They're very short, but again, remember, we're talking about Clade X, a tabletop pandemic exercise, which we can equate to a bad D&D game this week, like we talked about with Key and Peele. So Kanye the Giant, yo.
I want some bitches.
I want some bitches. All right, bitches. Here we go. Not bitches. This is Clade X Part 2. 29 seconds, super short. Action.
Joining us now is Senator Gerald Watson.
Gene, I'm headed to the White House along with 5 of my colleagues, Democrats and Republicans, to demand a temporary but complete ban on all persons traveling from Germany and Venezuela. we can surely prevent Clade X from crossing the Atlantic. We understand some cases may get through, but it would be foolish to let tens of thousands of airline passengers per week make that trip until we get this terrible outbreak under control.
Wow, bold statements there. We can keep this from crossing the Atlantic, right? We can close the borders. We can keep people from... Right? Bullshit. Exactly. Well said. I couldn't have said it better myself. Bullshit. Like now notice this guy's a fake senator. He's not actually a real senator, as far as I'm aware. I didn't look it up because he just looked fake. All
senators fake at some point.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you buy them and then they're real. then they're real senators.
Maybe.
Zing. Okay. All right. So we got a couple more of these super short, but remember these are videos. These are fake. These are fake news reports of a fake pandemic called Clade X that was a tabletop exercise, a bad D&D game with our lives, right? With our lives on the line. And once again, like don't get me going on taxes, but taxes mean that the government thinks they can spend our money better than we can spend it ourselves, right? And so I don't know. I could buy up a lot of toilet paper with the taxes I paid. I'll tell you what.
I can agree and attest to that.
Yeah, there you go. Amen. All right, here we go. So we'll play this last one. And again, these are fake news reports. Remember, this is a Clade X pandemic exercise, fake news report. We'll play this last one, then we'll move on to news of the day. Then we'll get on to the Greek myths. And we're going to do Pandora's box tonight. As in, what happens
when you Trump open... about his fake news?
Yeah, exactly. This is actually fake news. This is actually fake news. Like literally, actually fake news, 100%. But yeah, so we're gonna get to Pandora's box. I let the cat out of the bag. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, and that actual Greek myth of Pandora's box. And maybe some of you know it, maybe some of you don't. Maybe some of you think you know it. We're going to talk about it a little bit in depth and actually go through the whole story and talk about it a little bit more. So here we go. So let's finish this up, buzz through the news on coronavirus from today, and then we'll get to that. Here we go, action.
The first Clade X outbreak has now been confirmed in the U.S. in the town of South Norwich, Massachusetts. Authorities say the first cases appeared about a week ago in a dorm at East Berkshire College, but they were mistakenly diagnosed as viral meningitis. Now tests confirm the small college town is instead dealing with Clade X. For more, we go to Emily Schmidt in South Norwich. Emily.
Jean, 12 students have been hospitalized at the Berkshire Regional Medical Center, and we regret to report one has died. A local public health official told me she suspects the outbreak may have started with a student who had recently returned from a semester abroad in Germany. 2 days after he returned, he developed a mild cold and headache for a few days, but did not seek medical attention. The Berkshire County Public Health Officer has issued a quarantine order for the college. Under this order, 800 students, 40 faculty, and 50 support staff may not leave the school grounds for 2 weeks. The students are required to stay in their dormitories. No visitors are allowed on campus, including parents. Prepackaged food is being delivered to the dormitories. Parents of students are loudly objecting. Some are protesting outside the governor's office, demanding the governor overrule the county health officer and lift the quarantine. Jean, I have to tell you, this quarantine does not seem to be very effective. Campus security, supplemented by several local police officers from South Norwich, are attempting to establish a cordoned area, but several people have been seen leaving and entering the dormitories. Law enforcement officers do not appear to know what levels of force are authorized. Mary Witherston's 18-year-old, now quarantined daughter is at that college. I spoke with her earlier by phone.
This is ridiculous. Look, I'm a law-abiding citizen, but you and I have both seen people leaving those dormitories. I've been talking to my daughter on FaceTime. She's not sick. I do not want her there with kids who may be contagious.
Does that sound familiar?
Oh, 100%.
There's some bizarre parallels here. Remember, this is fake, guys. This is actual fake news. This is Clade X, a tabletop exercise. This happened in May 15th, 2018, and they're talking about an actual pandemic, a global viral pandemic, right, with respiratory symptoms that can kill people, moderately contagious and moderately lethal, right? Those were the parameters. Okay, so here we go. So let's wind this up on Clade X. So at the bottom of this article, I did link this. I'll link it again. It says, basically, here's the things. So the recommendations they found that they needed to do to be able to stem the tide in a Clade X type of, let's say, called now coronavirus, because we actually have a name for the thing, COVID-19. These are some of the things, the 6 things they needed to do as a group of people, as a government, local and federal, working together to be able to stave this off, to actually handle this well. Number 1, develop capability to produce new vaccines and drugs for novel pathogens within months, not years. There we go. Months, not years. Well, novel pathogens. Isn't it called the novel coronavirus? Wow. Weird. Number 2, pioneer a strong and sustainable global health security system. Wow. Those are some fancy 2-bit words. I tell you what. One more time.
I feel smart.
Pioneer a strong and sustainable global health security system. Wow. You know what I mean? It seems like you guys, I know many of you have been to these meetings where you go and everybody talks and they say a bunch of shit they don't really mean. They're just trying to, impress each other and show off the big words and the big ideas, right? But does anybody ever really get anything out of it, right? You know what I'm saying? Do Canadians do that too? I know Americans do that like crazy. Tell me, do Canadians do that too?
Use buzzwords? Yep.
Yeah, all right. Like trying to impress each other at meetings instead of actually talk about how we can change shit. Just kind of throw some 2-bit terms out and stomp out of there. Yeah, I won that meeting, bitches. Instead of
pretty much.
Right. Okay. All right. Here we go. So there's number 2. So again, 2-bit words here. 2-bit buzzwords. Number 3, build a robust, highly capable national public health system that can manage the challenges of pandemic response. Wow. Sounds so good on paper. That's amazing. Wow. Number 4, develop right? Number 4, or a few more, and then we'll move on here, guys. Hang in there with us. We're going to get there. We'll get to Pandora's box, Greek myth. We're getting there. Everybody hold on. Number 4, develop a national plan to effectively harness all U.S. healthcare assets in a catastrophic pandemic. More sounds good on paper. Number 5, implement an international strategy for addressing research that increases pandemic risks. I'm going to say that again. Implement an international. Hi, China. I'm talking to you. International strategy for addressing research that increases pandemic risks, right? So you get a bad player in the situation like China, and they're not forthcoming because they're trying to hide this. They're not actually allowing us access to a lot of the information they have worldwide. And so as a result, we're kind of at the mercy of, instead of being in front of this, at least even days at this point, days could mean millions of lives. We're behind this because thank you, China. And again, not the Chinese people. I'm with them, right? The CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, the government, right? Again, people aren't enemies of people, all right? We're not. We can work together. We can be together. All those things are nothing. Our differences are nothing. But when you have a government that's butchering people, it's different. Here we go. Number 6. I got off my soapbox. Here we go. Let's finish this. Number 6. Ensure the national security community is well prepared to prevent, detect, and respond to infectious disease emergencies. Holy shit. I tell you what. Doesn't that sound so good?
It's not happening.
Doesn't that sound so good? No, it's not happening. Okay, so anyway, here we go. One more time, I'm going to play this just like a public service. What are the differences between coronavirus and the flu? And then we're going to move on to the actual news of the day, and then we'll get to Pandora and Pandora's box. And maybe there's some parallels. Maybe we have some things to learn today from stories that are thousands of years old. So here we go. Let's play this real quick, and then we'll move right along.
When it comes to symptoms, the flu and coronavirus are similar. Fever, cough, headaches, nasal congestion, and vomiting. But this coronavirus also commonly comes with a shortness of breath and pneumonia symptoms, which are serious.
The usual cause of death is basically lung failure. So people just aren't able to oxygenate their blood well enough. And they can get a so-called, basically they go into almost like a shock type state.
That may explain why the hospitalization rate for the coronavirus in China is so high, about 16%, while in Canada, the rate for the flu this season is 7%. In both cases, people with mild symptoms aren't always counted, so these rates might actually be lower. Some don't even know they've been infected.
Physically, I don't have any symptoms. I would have never known had I not been randomly chosen.
The coronavirus has a higher death.
Wait, let me kill that real quick. So now we've moved from the land of the phony, from Clade X to the actual coronavirus. And check out what that chick said. She said that she was one of the people on the cruise, and she had no symptoms, asymptomatic, and they pulled her in for a test, and she had no idea she had it, except she tested positive. And so, highly infectious, stealthy, able to be asymptomatic and highly infectious. Right.
Yeah, the whole Typhoid Mary situation right there.
Yeah, exactly. Like almost a perfect storm, right? Scary stuff. So here we go. So we're going to play this again. The rest of this, one more minute, and then we're going to move on. And yeah, don't worry. We're going to get to Pandora's box tonight, I promise. Here we go, action.
Death rate. In China, there have been 29 deaths for every 1,000 confirmed cases. In Canada, complications from the flu this season have killed just 2 out of every 1,000 people diagnosed.
What we're seeing right now with the COVID-19 is it appears as though a lot of people have mild infections, and so they recover quite quickly and quite well from the infection. But there are a smaller proportion of people who are getting severely ill.
The flu and coronavirus can vary when it comes to how contagious they are. With the H1N1 flu, the transmission rate is 1.3, or one infected person typically infects 1.3 people. For this coronavirus, it's almost double. A recent study put it as high as 2.2, higher than SARS, which was 2. When it comes to prevention, flu shots reduce the risk of illness depending on the flu strain, but there are no vaccines for coronaviruses.
Basic hand hygiene and limiting your exposure to coughing and sneezing are still the best ways to protect yourself in either case. Vic Adopia, CBC News, Toronto.
There we go. I picked that one from Toronto because I knew that Sean was going to be with us tonight. That's some Canadian news. Canadian news for you. So that's from CBC Radio Canada. It's a Canadian public broadcast service, which is probably just as bad as our NPR, but I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt because I don't know any better.
CBC can actually be pretty good. The National they do their research, but sometimes they kind of feed into the fear.
Okay, so they're scale of 1 to 10. What would you call them? Like one's
probably
fake
rate them
news.
at 8.5.
Oh, really? They're good. They're that good.
Yeah, like I said, they actually do their fact checking, but sometimes they can even get it wrong.
Gotcha. Well, we can all be wrong. I've probably been wrong 75 times tonight, so we forgive
75.
Well, maybe 170. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So I'm looking to get Paul in, but he's gone. He's gone from the color queue. So Paul, get back in here. We'll put you on the show, man. Sorry, just had to get through this.
Yeah, Paul, come on back.
Come on back, buddy. And again, so here we go. Here's the point where we say we want to include you. If you're out there, I know Eric's itching to call us, buddy. 702-957-1037 or join the Discord. We're looking for anybody. And this is the thing, right? This is the time to share. If you have things going on in your community that I can tell you right now in Vegas, people are buying out the toilet paper like crazy, right? People are buying out the water. I went to the liquor store down on the corner. It's literally like very, very close. I could walk. It's that close to the house. I go down there and they're like, hey, we're just kind of shooting the shit at the register, as I grab my beer for the show. And they're like, hey, we ordered, 75 cases of water because we figured that, everybody else would be out. I was like, what?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, yeah, exactly. They're like, well, I chuckled. They're like, nobody buys water here, but I guess we'll see this week. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, actually, did you hear that San Jose Sharks are not having more than 1,000 people inside their rink?
Hey, you're getting to my news. We're about to get to that in a sec. We're going to buzz through that real quick.
My bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. You couldn't know. You couldn't know. Yes, I did hear that. So we're going to have a sports update tonight for you sports ball fans, and also for you non-sports ball fans. And we'll talk about the implications here. But anyway, so do call 702-957-1037. We'll get to that in just a sec. And yeah, there we go. We're at the end of this. We're at the end of that part, right? So there it is. There it is. COVID-19. Clade X becomes COVID-19, and we had a bunch of people together that couldn't, I don't know, do anything more than conjure up a bunch of fancy buzzwords, 2-bit terms, right? We need to usher in a robust and shut up. Like
hang on, guys. Hang on. I got to roll my D20 here.
There you go. Exactly. Natural D20 for you D&D fans. That's ridiculous. But yeah, here we go. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're doing. So let's get to that news. So I did link this. If you guys want to check it out, I'll put it in the Discord as well. This is the actual real time reporting to date by all media reports of the actual virus in every country in the world. So I did link it in chat. If you want to, let's see. I'll pull it up real quick and we can take a look here and see what this looks like. But they changed it. They changed the what it looks like. But they used to be in like maps and stuff. But they've got China 80,000 cases, 3,000 deaths, literally all up and down the deal. There we go. There's real time. If you guys want to check it out and be on top of the game, there it is. There's as far as the information as we can get as civilians. There is the game. There is the information. All right, so let's go to our sports ball. Go ahead and talk about the San Jose Sharks real quick. What was that about the Sharks?
The San Jose Sharks are following the directive of, I do believe it's the city of LA, that they're not going to have more than 1,000 people inside the arena amongst the COVID-19 virus.
Right. So we're talking about the craziness here. We're talking about actual, the kind of comes these seasonal sports, like the San Jose Sharks are a hockey team for you people that don't know and don't care. I understand if you don't, but they're going to cut down the people in the arena to 1,000 people, right? When there's probably like 22,000 seat capacity type of thing, right? Because they're trying to keep the spread of the virus from happening. Now here's more. So here we go. Some more sports ball for you guys that are into it or not. The first day of Major League Baseball, coronavirus protocol involves 6 feet of separation for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. So there we go. Somebody said, "Can you get a tape measure out, please?" Facetiously. Right? Like these are the types of things that are going on. Here we go. So this is reported by MSN.com talking about the Angels. I'm linking it. We're going to just smash through this real fast. Don't worry, guys. And we're going to get to Pandora's box right now in just a sec. Let me just smash through this. This is what's happening today. So Sean says San Jose Sharks. This is the Major League Baseball, 6 feet of separation for the Angels. Here's another one. We got the SF Gate reporting about the Giants, the San Francisco Giants. Hate them. F you Giants. F the Giants. There we go. There's my sports ball hate. Here we go. So one SF Giants beat writer is extremely upset about MLB's coronavirus-related clubhouse ban. So they've banned reporters from the clubhouse of these baseball teams. And this beat reporter is mad, extremely upset. Screw off. Whatever. Oh, I'm so mad. Yeah, whatever. Get over it, buddy.
Let's start a petition.
Yeah, exactly. Just for this asshole. By I don't know if it's the same guy, so I'm not going to read his name, that wrote the article. Okay, so anyway, here we go. So we got CBS Sports, coronavirus live updates. Ivy League cancels conference tournament, right? So that's college. We're going to get to some soccer too. I don't know a thing about soccer, so you're going to laugh at me. But there we go. So Ivy League cancels conference tournament. NBA, which is a basketball, MLB, baseball, NHL, closed locker rooms, right? They're shutting this off. Tell me, has this happened in our lifetime? Have you ever heard anything about this, Sean? Like in your entire life, do you remember anything?
In my entire lifetime, I think they did something similar for SARS. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that they did something similar, or they had limited exposure.
Okay, maybe. Not that I can remember. Not to this, where they're actually talking about possibly canceling Major League Sports, or maybe playing them in empty stadiums.
The women's hockey team is Canadian team is not taking part in any IFF or IIHF games.
I don't even know what that means, but I believe you. I believe you. Here we go. Let's laugh at my soccer knowledge. It's reported by ABC News. Manchester City game against Arsenal, is that how you say it? Arsenal postponed. First Premier League game called off in coronavirus precautionary move. Right? I've heard of Manchester, but Arsenal, I don't know how to say
Arsenal.
that. Arsenal, whatever. It's soccer. It's another sports ball. We don't do soccer too well in the States, so you'll forgive me. But many places in the world we do. Many places in football. Football. Yeah, football be good to me. Okay, so there we go. So we're canceling soccer games, right? We have clubhouses closed. Here we go. Check this out. Let's go a little bit closer. Let's get out of the sports arena and talk about this. Look at this crap. This is reported by thehill.com, and this is my hometown right here where I live. Well, not hometown, but where I live right now. MGM resorts to close Vegas buffets amid coronavirus outbreak. That's right. If you come to Las Vegas, right, MGM, which has like half the properties on the strip, are not serving buffets. Right? I'm telling you, this is
you'd think that they'd be worried about other things than the coronavirus. You know, like, I don't know, crime, chlamydia, AIDS, HIV.
Well, hold on though. Vegas isn't like that. Like I think they want you to think it's like that, and it can be like that if you want it to be like that, but it doesn't have to be like that. But I understand.
Well, that's if you go to the shadier parts of
you know what I mean? Like there's just like every city, there's some dirty parts. There's some non-dirty parts too. Anyway, okay, so check this out. Now this is amazing. This gets worse. It gets worse, right? Okay, so no buffets at MGM resorts. And so the other thing, being a local in Vegas, once MGM does it, everybody else follows, right? So we're going to have the Wynn, and these other properties are going to also shut down their buffets. But then what's next? You still have people sitting next to each other at damn slot machines, elbow to elbow, smashing the handles, right? Pumping their money in. I mean, so what's the next step? Buffets first, and then what? Pretty soon you're closing casinos, right? They did it in Macau, right? Which is, I think that's how you say it, the Chinese gambling haven. And I'm not sure if it's Hong Kong or not. It's happened, right? It happened there. Is it happening here? I don't know. Anyway, so here we go. Here's them. CBS News. 44 people killed from alcohol poisoning in Iran trying to ward off coronavirus. Or should I say Iran. 44 people killed from alcohol poisoning. So they were told that if they drank this particular bootleg alcohol, that it would stave off the coronavirus. And 44 people died as a result. Okay, this is today. Keep in mind, all of this news that we're blown through right now, we're almost done. We'll get to Pandora in a sec. This is all from today. This is all today's news, right? This is what the hell's going on the world over. Here we go. The next one. CNN.com are the most trusted source in news. Oh, okay, hold on.
I'm Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, or I'm Walter, whoever. I got you in a sec, Paul. Hang tight, buddy. As soon as we finish this, we'll get you in before Pandora, and then we'll keep on rolling here. Okay, and then so Walmart confirms coronavirus case in one of its stores. Right, here we go. Let's continue. NBCNewYork.com photos world landmarks before and after the coronavirus outbreak. Now this is striking. I'm gonna link this and not go full screen because we got Paul waiting and we got more stuff to get to. Check it out. There's actually photographs of like these Wuhan toll plaza with tons of people on the left and no people on the right. Right. Then we have the Wuhan, China hospital, Tiananmen Square, China. Lots of people on the left and no people on the right. Right. February 11th, February 21st, the Tokyo, Japan, Disneyland. We got the Mecca, Saudi Arabia at the Great Mosque. Yeah. February 14th and March 3rd. It's there's some scary stuff happening here. I'm going to get you one sec, Paul. Wall Street Journal. Coronavirus spreads to more elder facilities in Seattle area. Right. That's one of the bad spots. Like a lot of people dying up in that area right now. That's where most of the deaths have come from in the United States. And here we go. It's to more elder facilities in the Seattle area. More of them. There we go. That's the end of this. All that news is from today, guys. Today. So again, is this media fear-mongering? Is this Mike going, like buying it hook, line, and sinker? Or have we been talking about this weeks before anybody else touched this. Now the mainstream is all over this because they're freaking out when they want to point fingers politically. They want to say that we could have done things. They talked about this in 2018 for Clade X, right? They literally had sort of planned for this exact thing, and here we are. It's on our shores in the West, and we don't know what the hell we're doing. We don't know what the next step is. We're just buying the shit out of toilet paper. Pardon the language.
Because as people have put it, you sneeze, everyone else shits themselves.
Or exactly, yeah, that's probably what's going on. Okay, here we go. Let's take this call. Sorry to make you wait, Paul. We're going to pull you in, and then we'll keep on trucking. We're going to do Pandora's box after this, Greek mythology. Paul, you're on Trouble Minds with Sean and Mike. What's up, my man? What's on your mind tonight?
That's where most of the deaths have come from in the States. Here we go. It's to more elder facilities in Seattle.
Paul, I love to hear my voice through your speakers, but mute the stream, please.
So,
what's up, buddy?
This media fear mongering, like like buying it hook, line, and sinker.
Testing 1 2. Paul, you're muted.
Before anybody else touched. Now the mainstream is all over.
Paul, if you can hear us, you're muted now. No, yeah, they're on there.
All right. Can't do talk back. Paul, fix your mute, and then let us know when you're in chat when you're unmuted, and we'll bring you back. Okay. So let's start with Pandora's box. Let me know, Paul. We're watching you. We're watching you, and we'll put you in. Let's see. All right. Meow. What's a Christian meow? Again, so if you guys, this is the natural break in the story. We're going to get to Greek myths right now and Pandora's box. But if you want to call, we want to be a part of the show. We're waiting on Paul to unmute. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. You can find both of those at troubledminds.org, and that's the official website. And we're going to talk about Greek mythology now. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's your favorite part, right, Sean? Favorite part.
Oh, totally, 100%.
Hell yeah. Most everybody loves Greek mythology, so we're gonna do that. I've been trying to work this in. I've been thinking that we should have been doing this for a long time, and so I found a way that we're going to be able to do this in the future if you guys dig this type of conversation. So as always, we appreciate the feedback. Let us know how this strikes you tonight. And if you like these clips we're going to play and the discussion that kind of follows, Pandora's box. So let's do that. But do call if you guys want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037, troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link. Blah, blah, so on and so forth. Mike speaks fast. Blah, blah. Mike speaks really fast. You watch out. I'll out-talk you. You watch out. Okay, here we go. So let's start with your first link there. Greekmythology.com. Any preface before we play the first Pandora clip there, Sean? This is what got you stoked tonight. This is what got you excited. I said Greek mythology, and you were like, yeah, woo, baby, let's do it, right? Why?
Yeah, no, I absolutely adore Greek mythology, even Celtic mythology as well, because of the fact that there's a lot of similar parallels in between the both of them.
And so it kind of weaves in like antiquity. We're talking about weird how the different parts of the world, their myths kind of fit together in puzzle pieces. Kind of the Anunnaki fits, and it kind of leads to the modern day. It's nice stuff. It's good stuff. And the reason I wanted to talk about it and kind of bring it in is I think we have an obvious parallel here, don't we? If you guys don't know the myth of Pandora, we're about to go through it in its entirety, and you'll know. But once you open Pandora's box, you can't close it. It's the what would you call it? The can of worms, so to speak, right? It's once you open the can of worms, you just can't get them back in.
Worms.
Yeah, exactly. So here we go. So this is from Greekmythology.com. Pandora, we're not going to read this because we've got better clips. Still watching you, Paul. As soon as you unmute, we'll pull you in. But we're going to start this. A lot of people have been waiting for the Greek myths. We're going to play this. And so let me tell you the way this starts. Okay. So this starts with Prometheus, the fire bringer. All right, many of us have heard of this. We could have played that and got it. It would have been extra time. I think it was less necessary. So I'll just preface how this starts. So Prometheus, the fire bringer, he's immortal, right? He's this is a time before people. This is a time when there are titans. They are demigods. They are immortal people. And Prometheus climbs to Mount Olympus, and he takes the fire and he brings it down to give it to mortal men as they are created. And Jupiter, who is Zeus in the Roman, Jupiter is angered greatly because the sacred fire is not for mere mortals. And so in brief, Prometheus gets punished. Jupiter straps him to the top of a mountain, him being immortal, he's punished daily by a phoenix flying to him and eating his liver out every single day. For him to heal, his liver to grow back, and the next day it happens again for eternity. And that's how this starts, right? So Jupiter's angered. Mortal man now has fire thanks to Prometheus. Prometheus is now stuck in chains and in eternal strife and torture. And that's where this story starts. So let's play clip 1 of Pandora's Box and action.
In the early days of man's life on the earth, when everything was beautiful and new, there was no sickness anywhere, nor any pain, nor sorrow. Men lived to be very old and very wise, and everywhere was happiness, such has never been since in all the world. Now Jupiter had not forgotten about the stealing of the sacred fire, and it angered him that man should light his own fires and kindle the cheerful blaze which should by right be glowing only in the halls of Olympus. The suffering of Prometheus had not softened his wrath. He would not be satisfied until punishment was visited upon those who had received the stolen fire. Accordingly he called a council of the gods and spoke to them of his desire. Though none of the deities wished to see misfortune brought upon the race of man, they did not dare to dispute the will of Jupiter. So they agreed to carry out the plan that he unfolded, and before many days had passed they had fashioned, out of the same clay from which man was made, a creature that they called Woman. To her each of the gods gave a gift, such as softness, or grace, or wonderful fairness. But Jupiter added one other quality, curiosity, and he gave the woman the name of Pandora, which means the gift of all the gods. Then he bade Mercury, who is the messenger of the gods, take this new soft thing down to the earth, and give her to Epimetheus for his wife. Now Epimetheus had mourned apart from his fellows ever since he learned of his brother's dreadful fate, and he sat day and night in the cool silence of the forest, brooding over his sorrow. But one day he saw someone coming toward him, led by the hand of Mercury, and all at once he forgot to be sad, for the sunlight was shining on the woman's golden hair, and her white arm was stretched out to him in greeting. For some time Epimetheus and Pandora lived happily in the gardens of the earth, and every day Epimetheus thanked the gods for their last and best gift to man.
Okay, there we go. There's part 1 of Pandora's Box. And so Epimetheus is the brother of Prometheus. Prometheus was the one who brought fire to the mortals from Mount Olympus and was tortured eternally. Okay, so now Jupiter's angry. He convenes a meeting with all of the gods, and he wants to get back at mortal man. Like he said there in the clip, they should not be allowed to light their own fires. It's a sacred thing, and that trust has been breached by Prometheus, and here we are. So they created a woman, the original Trojan horse. If you're a woman out there, does this make you rage? Does this make you rage? Yeah.
Oh, Mike.
Does that make you rage? Right? It makes me rage a little bit. But, okay, so Not Found says that the names he's using are from Roman mythology, not Greek. Okay, so we'll call this Roman. Let's use it interchangeably, Greek and Roman. There you go. The names are a little different. The stories are the same. So excuse me if I mix that up. Okay, so anything there, right? Humans, everything's fine and dandy.
Like, with the reason why that Zeus/Jupiter was so enraged with Prometheus and giving fire to the humans was because of the fact that Prometheus had tricked the gods into taking bones and sinew from a cow and giving the meat to man.
Okay, so there's more to that. Like again, so this is kind of the story in brief. So I found this fantastic resource. So you guys can check this stuff out. It's on LibriVox is where I got this from, and it's all open source. It's all public domain stuff. So we're going to be able to, if you guys enjoy this, the way this conversation shakes out tonight, we can do Greek myths for days. All right, we can weave them into each story we do.
So many days.
Yeah, so many days. There's tons of stuff, and there's like the writings of Marcus Aurelius, some fantastic old actual philosophy, like one of the original philosopher kings. We could do Plato and all these guys. Anyway, if you guys are interested, you want to do some of this old stuff. I've been wanting to do it for a while. I wasn't sure how to wind it in. We'll just shoehorn this shit in because it's too good. It's too good to leave out. Like I was telling Sean earlier, like a lot of this, a lot of these stories we forget. It's like we have amnesia as a species, as a people, and a lot of these things. What is it? Sorry. Go ahead.
A mass amnesia.
Yeah, mass amnesia, exactly. Like together, like mass hallucinations when we see UFOs. But it's
mass
amnesia.
Hallucinations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Paul said his he can't hear, his mic's broke or something. So he left a message in Discord there. So we're not going to be able to get to Paul. So if you guys want to call and get in on this, we're talking about Pandora. This is the first part, and mass amnesia. Kind of like mass hallucinations. And so part one, Prometheus steals the fire. Zeus and Jupiter, same guy, different Greek or Roman, is pissed off. He convenes a meeting, and he sends mankind, mortal man, their first woman, right? And in biblical terms, it's going to be Lilith. In this term, it's going to be Pandora, right? Again, like so many parallels between so many different mythologies, and there we go. So again, if you guys want to be part of this,
Go
ahead.
Like Lilith and stuff like that. That's actually a lot of people are relating it between Adam and Eve, not necessarily Adam and Lilith.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, again, right? There's too much time here to literally dig into like the minutia.
I know.
like not like, thank you for adding that. Like, not found on YouTube says this. So the original Greek story from Hesiod's works and days differs quite a bit. It's not interchangeable. So that's true. Be that as it may, we don't have time. So at some other point, we'll be able to get into and maybe those details.
That is a very deep rabbit hole.
Yeah, just not right now, just not right this second. So we're gonna pretend like it's interchangeable and continue with this. But okay, there we go. So okay, I copy you guys. You want your shirt? Copy that. We'll get some shirts up. Okay, all right. So here we go. So there's where we start, right? So Mercury, the messenger of the gods, comes and brings Pandora to Epimetheus as a gift, and Zeus or Jupiter, the dirty bastard, gives her gives her curiosity, right? That's his trick. That's his secret dirty trick. So here we go. Here, part 2 of Pandora's box.
He never tired of watching Pandora chasing butterflies through the tall meadow grass, or making cups out of broad leaves that she and Epimetheus might drink from the clear, cool spring. One day, as they were resting under the trees and eating their simple meal of dates and wild honey, they saw a traveller coming toward them. He was walking very slowly, and seemed heavily burdened with what appeared to be a large box. While he was yet some distance off, Pandora ran to meet him and asked him to come into the shade and rest. The stranger was old, and the chest that he carried bent his shoulders almost to the ground. He looked hungry and thirsty and tired. So Epimetheus urged him to stop and rest, and offered him some freshly gathered dates. But the traveller, who was none other than Mercury in disguise, replied that he could not tarry with them, for he had a long distance yet to go. He asked them, however, to take care of his great oak chest, for with that burden off his shoulders he could hurry on and reach his journey's end before nightfall. He promised to come back for the chest a few days later. Epimetheus and Pandora were delighted to be of service to a stranger, and promised to guard the chest with great care. The traveller thanked them and turned away, but just as they were saying good-bye, he mysteriously disappeared, and whichever way they looked there was no trace of him to be seen. Epimetheus was not at all eager to know what was in the mysterious chest, but as soon as they sat down again under the trees, Pandora began to ask 1,000 questions as to who the traveller might be and what the chest contained. Epimetheus begged her not to think any more about it, as nothing could be learned of the old man or his burden. But Pandora refused to be silent, and talked still more of the probable treasure that they were guarding for the stranger. At last Epimetheus got up angrily and walked away, wearied with her insistence. Pandora then went over to the chest, and kneeling down beside it, she examined the exquisitely carved figures that were on all its 4 sides. Then she studied the fine golden cord that bound the chest. It looked soft enough, and yet it was very strong, for it was made of strands of twisted gold, and was tied at the end with a curious knot. There was no lock to be seen, and apparently nothing hindered eager fingers from opening the lid when once the knot was unfastened and the golden cord unwound.
Okay, so part 2. We have the setup. So Mercury, the messenger of the gods, disguises himself as a traveler, and he's carrying this exquisite box, as I explained there in detail at the end. Golden, with tied together with just a single soap
Golden
ribbon.
strands.
Golden strands, exactly. And so no lock on the box. It's basically like beautiful carvings, the whole deal, right? Like the entire thing, like such an exquisite box. And so actually in the actual Greek that I was reading about this and, you know, kind of prepping for the show, is that there's some dispute as whether it's actually a box or a jar. So Pandora's jar, but, you know, Pandora's box becomes the English. Anyway, there you go. So a jar, box. Anyway, you get the point. It's exquisite, golden strands, not locked. It's just tied up with just a beautiful ribbon. And you
Here, have all of this.
Exactly. And Pandora, with a curiosity, is dying to know what's inside, dying to know what's in this box. And yeah, there we go. Yeah. Again, so there we go. So part 2, Pandora and Pandora's box. We got a few more here to play, and we'll tie this up. We'll wind this up. We'll get this all together. And I see the box jokes. You guys are too funny. Yeah, Pandora's box is
Some of them are actually pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we got mad comedians up in here. Okay, so now this is the thing. If you guys want to contribute, you know what to do. We do the show live to include you. Crowdsource this sucker. 702-957-1037. Go to troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link. Get in here. Paul said that his stuff is broken, so he can't until next time. He's gonna have to do a sound check. Meet us another time. But if you guys want to be on the show, we have room for you. We have time for you. We're going to finish up. We got, let's see, how many more clips? That was 2. We got 3 more clips, 3, 4, and 5 to finish this out. Yep, 3, 4, 5. That's all we got. So this is a kind of a brief of the story. There are longer versions of these, but it's probably a little more into the weeds, a little less interesting to most of you. So we'll do the brief version, and there we go. So if you want to join the show,
It's actually
702.
a very interesting subject.
I agree. And so this is the beginning. This is the very beginning, right? So this is before mortals could die. Like mortals were actually immortal as well. There was no old age. There were no disease. None of these things. And so this is the time before all of that. And so here's Jupiter, or Zeus is a way to get back at him. There we go. yeah, do call in. We have time, guys. If you guys want to call in, no problem. Okay, so anything on that? So the golden strands of that box, the curiosity, Epimetheus runs away, walks away frustrated with Pandora.
Well, yeah, like, you know, it's one of those things that if you get plagued with a bunch of questions and you don't know how to answer them, of course you're going to walk away and you're going to ponder about them. But now for the person who's at the box with the golden thread, of course it's going to drive them insane. It's like, you know, getting a surprise gift at work, but it says do not open till after work.
or do not open till next year, or never open because it's not yours anyway. Like it's curiosity killed the cat, right? Curiosity killed the cat. Do call us, Eric, man.
That's what I mostly get from this story. Is the fact that, you know, your curiosity, if you let it out of control, can lead you down a dangerous path.
Agreed. And then again, as we wind this up, once you open the box, can you put the contents back in? We'll get to that in a minute. Eric, give us a call, man. Give us a call, my man. Do call. We appreciate it. If you want to be on the show, we got time for you. So here we go.
Yeah, Eric, get on in here, man.
There you go. We got time, and we got good stories to talk about. We got stuff. So here we go. Here's part 3 of Pandora's box. So Epimetheus walks away frustrated. Pandora is left sitting by this exquisite golden threaded box that's held together by nothing more than a single ribbon. No lock in sight. There we go. Part 3.
Pandora's fingers itched to try her skill on the knot, and she felt sure that if she worked at it long enough, she could finally loosen it. The figures carved on the lid were groups of dancing children, and in the very centre was one figure whose face was so strange that Pandora sat for a long time staring at it. Now and then she turned away, and when she looked at the face again, it had a different expression from the one she had seen on it before. She knew that this carved thing was not alive, and yet each time she gazed into the strange eyes of the wooden face, They were quite unlike the eyes that had smiled or frowned or mocked at her before. She went to see whether Epimetheus had come back, and finding that he was still away, she returned to the chest again, but would not let herself be tempted into so much as touching the golden cord. As she stood wondering what to do, she thought that she heard some little voices coming from inside the chest, and they seemed to say, "Open, Pandora, please! Please open and let us out!" Pandora looked quickly around to see whether Epimetheus was in sight. Then she came a bit nearer to the chest and put one hand on the golden cord. Again she heard the small voices, this time very distinctly, and they said, "Open, Pandora, please! Please open and let us out!" Pandora's heart was now beating fast. What could be in the chest? What poor imprisoned creatures were calling to her, begging her to set them free? She put both hands on the golden cord. Then she looked guiltily around, but no one was in sight. No one was watching her except some inquisitive squirrels who were peering down at her from the branches just above her head. Swiftly and deftly she untied the knot, which yielded easily to her eager fingers. But even then she hesitated, fearing the anger of Epimetheus. The little voices cried again, "Open, Pandora, please! Please open and let us out!" But still she hesitated, not daring to raise the lid. Just then she heard her husband calling to her, and she knew that there would be no chance now to explore the contents of the mysterious chest. She must wait for that pleasure until another time.
Okay, so we're at the precipice. Pandora has...
That sounds like a really clean porno.
Does it? I didn't think about it like that.
Just how descriptive he is with the fingers and the delight and the trepidation.
Yeah. Hey. It's got to start somewhere, right? Anne Rice. Everybody, Anne Rice fans out there, she started as like a erotica writer. Hey, it starts somewhere. Everybody remembers when you were
Johansson.
What's that? Who?
Dr. Sue Johansson, you don't know her?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, she had a
Softcore?
sex show on TV, and she would go through like different questions. Honestly, search her up. She is absolutely hilarious and very blunt.
Gotcha. Okay. We will have to do that. If you can pull me a link, that'd be fantastic. We'll pull that up at the end of this. So Pandora, gently, teasingly, puts her hands on the cord and undoes them, and is so curious at what's underneath the lid of the box. And she's ready. She's ready to take it out, undo the box. And even now this is the worst part, right? So her curiosity isn't enough. There are voices coming from the box, right? Saying, "Help us, Pandora, let us out. Please, help us escape." And so, right? So the trap is set. The hook, the fish is on the hook. And the bait is tight, it's snug, hooked in. What would you call it? I'm not a fisherman. I just botched that. But you get it, right? The hook is set. That's what I was looking for. The hook is set, right? And now the cord is undone, and now Pandora only has to open the box, and she's just wrestling with herself and whether she should or not. So here we go. Part 4. And again, do call. We're still waiting for you guys. 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link. Go to troubledminds.org. Both are there, the phone number and the Discord. And so no Paul. Paul's stuff is broke, so we'll have to get to him next time. So here we go. So we're gonna finish this up. We're gonna complete this. Part 4, Pandora's box, and action.
Meanwhile, she would take just one peep inside to be sure that the voices were not mocking her. So she raised the lid very gently, but no sooner had she made the smallest opening than out poured a host of tiny creatures like brown-winged moths, and they swarmed all around her, biting and pinching and blistering her soft skin until she cried out in fear and pain. She tried to fight them off and rushed away to find Epimetheus, but the tormenting little sprites followed her, buzzing about her ears and stinging her again and again. In vain she strove to brush them away, for they clung to her dress, her hair, and her poor swollen skin. When she reached Epimetheus, she was crying bitterly, and it did not need any questioning to find out the trouble, for the malicious little creatures were so numerous that hundreds of them encircled Epimetheus and bit and stung him, just as they had done to Pandora. In the unhappy hour that followed, while husband and wife bound soothing herbs on their bruised skin, Pandora told Epimetheus how her fatal curiosity had led her to open the chest and set free the host of evil things. It was not, however, until later that they realized the extent of Pandora's folly, for the little brown-winged creatures were all the spirits of evil that had never before entered the world. Their names were Sickness and Pain and Sorrow, Envy and Pride and Jealousy, Hunger, Poverty and Death. All these ills had envious Jupiter put into the oak chest and bound it with only a golden cord. He knew that sooner or later Pandora would open the chest, and then man's life of untroubled happiness would be for ever at an end. Never again could the gardens of the earth be places where man might hope to find peace. Evil things had taken up their dwelling there, and they would stay for always and always and always, as long as the world should last.
There you go. And so all the demons of the world, all of the ills, jealousy, disease, you name it, if it's bad and it's in this world, traces back to Pandora's box, Pandora's jar, let's say, so we'd be a little less dirty. It's with the golden cord. It's tragic. It's tragic. It's a setup. It's the most grotesque setup of all time. Jupiter, Zeus, you dirty bastard! Like, how dare you? Right? Oh, I got it. Jupiter, you know it's coming.
Jupiter, how dare you?
There you go. there you go. I got it. I didn't have that set up. I was just from an old show. Okay, so. Yeah, right? Okay, so he set him up. It's a setup, right? Like mankind, Prometheus, with the help of Prometheus, how dare you steal the fire, the holy sacred fire. Now, this is how Zeus gets back. Disease, envy, jealousy, every negative thing humans now have today and forever on, trace back to this moment. I don't know. What do you think there? What do you think there, Sean? What do you think, buddy?
I think that... there could very well have been all those evils and stuff like that. And I guess depending on which version of the story listen to or read, apparently there were supposed to be 12 evils. I'm not entirely sure exactly which ones those are. It just escapes me right now.
Yeah, so there's many forms of this, not found on YouTube was saying there's they're not interchangeable, these myths, depending on the source you grab. There's so many different ways that you can kind of interpret this, and some are short, some are long. I mean, this one was kind of for brevity's sake. It's kind of made for young adults, right? So yeah. So I mean, we got what we have, and for brevity's sake, this is what we're rolling with. It's better than me trying to tell the story sloppily. So I think, right? You know what I mean?
Well, at least it's not sloppy seconds.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Pandora's box. You had to do it. Okay. So
yes, I did.
You did. We went there. Okay. So we have the last clip here. But so again, you see my thrill when I found this Greek stuff and Roman stuff, whatever it is. I will link this where you guys can find this stuff if you want to listen to some of these on your own, or if you want to re-listen to this without me, our jabbering in between. These stories are fantastic. They're old. They're old as the hills, older than the hills, and they are, again, like, do we look to the past and learn something, or do we let's say look to the past of May 15th, 2018 with the Clade X, or do we look to the past of thousands of years ago to Jupiter and Zeus and the land of Pandora and a time before there were ills in the lives of men and women? I mean, it's weird, right? It kind of rang true to me, so I'll try and time in as best I can.
100%.
Right? Like,
if you don't look towards the past, you are not going to learn anything for the future. It's like how people say, learn from your mistakes, so that way you won't repeat them, and so on and so forth.
And instead, here we are, like, stupidly over and over repeating our stupid mistakes. So, I mean, yeah, this is, there we go. Yeah, do call in, Eric.
Brother.
Calling you out, buddy. Calling you out. Calling you out, Eric. Call in. As we finish
Eric,
this up.
come on.
There you go. Called out twice, 4 times on the stream. All right, so we have time for you guys. If you want to call, 702-957-1037. That's a Las Vegas area code. If you don't like long distance, old school, you can join the new school. We have a Discord. It's a chat and a voice client, and you can find the Discord invite on troubledminds.org. That's the official website. Top right, click the Discord. It'll have a direct invite to the server, and it's just like a free phone call. You got internet, you're in. You don't have to dial long distance, even though it kind of doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, just to make sure we include everybody. All right, so let's finish
everyone's voice counts.
There you go. Exactly. A couple good comments here. Not Found says that Pandora was made to be the first human woman, so one could say the golden age of man was before woman, and Zeus's gift of Pandora brought the woes of man. Yeah, like I said, how much does that make you rage if you're a woman? Just a FYI. But yeah, good point. Perfect elaboration. Again, this is why we do this live, because you guys are smarter than me, and we put it together. We somehow put a story together. We have a framework. I stumble through it, and you guys help me get there. So appreciate it. Thank you again, Sean, for being here tonight. And here we go. Here's the last part of Pandora's box. So she's opened this box, and all of the devils of the world, all of the evil has come out of this box. It was a trap all along. The voices inside told her, Pandora, help us. Please help us escape. Let us out. Voices inside.
Please help us.
Please help. Exactly. Let us out. Let us out. And so she just peeked. It was a tiny peek, Pandora. She just opened the lid of the box, and they came storming out. All the ills of the world that we still have today. All of the things you worry about, these are the things that were released from this box. Now, she closed it quickly, right? So she, hoping to not let it out when she realized what happened, to not let everything out, she closed it very quickly. And here's the end of the story. And part 5, Pandora's box, action.
When Epimetheus and Pandora saw the hateful winged creatures settling down on the leaves and flowers so as to be near at hand to torment them, they wept bitter tears, and wished that the gods had never created them. In the midst of her sobbing, Pandora had not, however, forgotten about the chest, and she was still wondering what else might be inside it, for she was sure that those moth-like things could never have wholly filled it. Suddenly she heard a wee soft whisper coming from within the chest, and it said, "Open, Pandora. Please open and let me out." Pandora stared in surprise, for she had thought that all the evil sprites had rushed out in that moment when she raised the lid. Was there, then, another host of tormenting things still there, and if so, should she let them out to add to her misery and pain? Again the little soft voice cried, "Open, Pandora, please open and let me out." Pandora now called to Epimetheus, and together they listened to the pleading voice, which was so very soft and sweet that they were sure it could not belong to any evil thing. Still, Epimetheus was unwilling to risk bringing any more trouble into the world, but in spite of her remorse, Pandora was curious to see what it was that was begging so plaintively for freedom. So, with Epimetheus's consent, she opened the lid once more, and out fluttered a tiny little creature with beautiful gauzy wings. She flew straight to Pandora, then to Epimetheus, and at her touch all their hurts were healed and all their pain forgotten. The name of this gentle messenger was Hope, and she had been hidden in the chest secretly by one of the pitying gods, who grieved that Jupiter was sending so many ills to fret mankind. The host of evil beings once set free could never again be shut up in their narrow prison, but wherever they flew, even to the remotest corner of the earth, Hope followed them, and brought healing in her wings. And when the world grew wicked, as it did in the days that came after, so that men neglected the altars of the gods, Hope was still remembered with votive offerings, and her shrines kept garlanded with flowers.
And there it is. And so ends the brief young adult version of Pandora and the jar, or Pandora's box. Now, again, what kind of rang true to what's happening today, to me, is we have a parallel, don't we? We have a parallel of a COVID-19 that was released from, I don't know, let's say a lab. And once it's released, is it possible to put it back? Once the ills of the world have come out of Pandora's box, what do we have besides hope, right? What do we have besides this hope, this final hope that was released from the box that still her curiosity could not contain? Crazy stuff, huh? Crazy stuff. It just seemed to be parallel, yeah, hand in hand. Go ahead, Sean. We got Eric calling in, so we'll take the call in just a second. He's got a couple links he wants to talk about, and we'll do that. But a little bit eerie, right? I like can of worms. Once you open the can of worms, you can't put them back. Different from a can of whoop ass. That's safe for Frank, wherever you are, Frank. If you're out there listening, a can of whoop ass for you. Everybody else gets a can of worms in Pandora's box. But I mean, yeah. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
There's a lot of parallels for what's happening now and stuff like that. Especially the fact that a lot of everyone's kind of personal evils are coming out, where there's discrimination, like the Chinese student that got beaten in the UK over the fact that he was Chinese. And, he had no symptoms of the virus or anything like that, but the people didn't care. And there's now a division with, the Chinese versus the rest of the world and other stuff like that.
It's ugly. It's ugly things, right? Yeah, like I think the when you're talking about this story, the thing that strikes me the most about all of it is humans, like all of the ills that came out of Pandora's box. There are a lot of ugly things, and many things of these things we cannot contain, like human wise, like the jealousy, the greed, like you name it, like stack it on. Like there's the disease, the envy. It's all there. It's all there, and it's still right. How many thousands of years later are we still struggling with all of these things? But again, right, the most beautiful part of this story is the very end. One of the sympathetic gods smuggled in hope. And so one way or the other, as humans, with COVID-19, Clade X, whatever tomorrow may bring, at least banding together we have hope. And that maybe one day we can conquer those ills, and we can take maybe defeat Jupiter and Zeus in the old days, and the trap that was set for us, for all of humanity. Crazy stuff.
I think the biggest thing that people have to put aside is the pride. That's the biggest killer in any type of negotiation, deal making, anything like that. As soon as your pride takes over your common thought process, everything just goes to shit.
And that's just one of them. That's just one of the ills that were released, the pride.
Exactly.
That's just one of them. Yeah, we have to contend with all of them. Okay, so we got Eric on the line here. We're going to take this call. He sent in a couple links he wants to talk about. It's as simple as this, guys. Look, Eric, we called him out. He was saying, "Call everybody, call." We called him out in the chat. He did. And he called in right now, and he sent me a couple links on Discord and said, "Hey, Mike, can you pull these up? I want to talk about these." Look how easy this is. Open source show. Smart people calling in. We get together, and he's got some things he wants to point out. So here we go. We're going to go PowerPoint with Eric. And what's up, Eric? Eric from Pittsburgh. You're on Trouble Minds with Sean and Mike. Thanks for calling, my man. You're the best. How are you tonight?
Hey, how are you guys doing? You guys able to hear me okay?
I hear you just fine. How about you, Sean?
Hear you.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, I had to call him, right? You guys are calling me out. But, yeah, always good to get on the show. Yeah, I wanted to talk about those two links I sent you. That one with Disneyland was just a couple days ago. I thought that was definitely worth sharing that video if you were able to cue that one up.
Okay, you got it. I'm linking it in the chat so you guys can follow up on us. Per always, sources, right? Sources are important. We didn't say it, they said it. But here we go. Let's play part of this. So this is reported by InsideTheMagic.net, shared by Eric. Thank you, Eric. We got Disney and aliens. Ring-shaped UFO spotted over Disneyland. So here we go. Let's play part of this video here.
Avengers, they're coming.
Okay, so whatever the hell this is, I'm linking this. I'm linking the video itself as well as the article. But it appears there's like a circle of smoke in the sky. That's at least smoke, possibly, I don't know, some sort of alien something or other. What the hell's going on with this? I hadn't seen this. I thought this was more like Disney pedophilia, to be honest, when I just saw that. That's what I thought it was. But okay, yeah, go ahead. Tell us about this, Eric.
No, I saw this the other day while I was sitting in traffic, and I was like, oh man, this is could be a million things, right? It could be Could be a smokestack from a nearby business. It could be anything. It could be CGI. I mean, we really don't know what it is, but I always like to get a little bit of good alien conspiracy in on the show every once in a while, and I thought that was pretty compelling video for the moment.
Definitely.
The other video I sent you, I've been seeing a lot of that on social media and so forth and so on. I mean, basically they're starting their next round of research and investigation of Mars, and NASA said that their next plan for their next trying to think of the word they use for their rover is they're looking for prehistoric life or things like that on Mars, and they found a opening that they said was 13 meters wide that leads into the inner core, I guess you would say, of Mars. It was a pretty good breed, but you really can't tell when you're looking at a satellite picture if it's a hole or if it's water, because there's water on Mars. But I guess we're going to find out here soon.
Yeah, I did see that. So they're about to send a whole new slew of Mars rovers up there with all kinds of different scientific equipment, right? Because again, like there's some scientists have been saying, if there's life on Mars, it's going to be underground because there's too much radiation on the surface. If it was like millions of years of evolution, they would have actually dug underground to survive, right? Like, because life has a way of surviving, like kind of Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park, right? Life finds a way. So these are the sorts of things that are compelling about Mars, and that it's funny, we're trying to look all over the universe for life, right? And it could be that there might be complex organisms, not microorganisms, complex organisms living on Mars underground that have been there for millions of years. It's this is crazy. This is crazy stuff. But yeah, so there's a whole...
Actually, I remember sharing that one with you, with the lava tubes apparently on Mars.
Yeah, definitely. So this was one that I saw. It was actually in my bucket of news to talk about tonight. There's just so damn much to talk about. Something has to hit the cutting room floor, and so this was definitely one of them that I had pulled out. This exact reported by the New York Post. But so we got it. We got Eric said, "Hey, we're getting this in tonight," and so we got it in tonight. We made time. There's no problem.
Thanks for bringing that in, Eric.
Absolutely. The one thing I wanted to bring up, I was looking up earlier, I saw someone in the comment section was saying that they got shut down or cut off by YouTube. I was looking it up, and I guess YouTube right now and Google have a mission or some type of move coming in 2020 now, where they're trying to shut down conspiracy YouTube videos. They're claiming it's giving out false information and causing public harm. And, censorship 101 right there. But I was shocked whenever I looked that up right after he said that in the comments, that they actually have an initiative right now to I guess, weed out the conspiracies on YouTube.
Yeah, so that's not new. That's been ongoing. So when Frank was here,
100%.
Yeah, we were looking up. We used to be able to just type UFO and then sort by date. And we used to get whatever, right? If somebody had put something up and it had one view on YouTube, it would come up in the filter. You can't do it anymore. You do that and you just sort by what UFO video was posted today. You're going to get Fox News shit from like a year ago. It's they've changed the algorithms so that they've literally shadow banned this stuff. And yeah, this is what we're dealing with, right? Like no ego here, like saying that like we should be bigger than what we are, because not saying that we're super good or anything, but this is the type of stuff that people want to hear. Like nobody wants to turn on the news and listen to the same bullshit propaganda and like spit in their face every day. It just makes you feel like a fool. Like these are the types of things that people want to hear. So if people want to hear it, then why is it so hard to find us? Why is it so hard to blow up? Why is it so hard to go viral? You know what I mean? It's disgusting. It's all part of the game here. And you go to troublewinds.org, you read the front page. Like we wrote this out when we started this nearly 2 years ago. 2 years ago in April. It's right there on the front page. A conspiracy theory is an alternative take on history that's uncomfortable. It's inconvenient to the narrative. It's all there. So it's just a matter of time, man. Perfect pointing it out, and you're right. It's happening. It's been happening, and it's going to continue to happen. So the only way this grows, the only way this conversation continues is with you guys, is by sharing, by letting people know we're here, and by you guys calling in and like you've done tonight, and being part of the conversation. All the chat, Sean being here, Eric, thanks for the call, Joe earlier. Who else did we get in the middle? Hard to remember everybody, but yeah.
Todd,
yeah. Everybody, Kelly, everybody. Like everybody contributes in the chat. It's definitely good stuff. We had a good comment here in chat about this. This is a sand lion, a giant sand lion on Mars. You guys know what sand lions are? Right? Remember those things?
That's where the sand line is.
Yeah, with like they be in the sand, and you blow into it and like kind of like blow the sand away, and you get like this little monster thing down there, an ant lion, I guess they were called. That's what we used to call them when we were kids. Crazy. Maybe if you blow on the top of this thing, there's a monster down there. The Sarlacc pit from Star Wars. Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
But to go along with your shutdowns and stuff like that over YouTube, there's actually in the COVID there, not the COVID, but the Clade there, how they are restricting internet as part of the fake news broadcast to apparently stop fake news from being broadcast and stuff like that. How they have it in there, and it's happening or been happening over the past 5-10 years.
Yeah, no, and it's going to continue to happen. They're just putting their foot on the gas, basically. Like it's censorship, pure and simple, right? And here's the thing, right? This is the thing I've always said. I'll continue to say this. If we're just talking out our ass and there's nothing to see here, and we're literally just knuckleheads talking about knucklehead stuff, then why are they taking the time to censor us, right? I think that's the crux of the argument here, and why I won't quit. I'm not going to stop talking about this because they don't want me to. They don't want us to. They don't like this conversation. They don't like us having a free and open platform to share these ideas, right? Right, wrong, or indifferent. It doesn't matter. Nobody's right all the time. But being able to share the ideas and talk about this stuff is dangerous to them. It's dangerous to a singular narrative, and that's the point. And that's why we're here, in my opinion. It's my opinion. That's why we're here.
So
It
got
could
one
also
last
end up
one
like
for you guys this
that
evening.
one movie.
Well, I guess.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Eric.
So, you guys obviously know me from calling in about moon conspiracies and such. That's my favorite topic. Shout out to Sherry there. But
what's up, Sherry?
Yeah, so I was watching video last week about the moon landing, and another conspiracy popped up, and wanted to see what you guys thought about it. So a part of the whole conspiracy with the moon landing, of course, is, it didn't happen. They just circled the Earth, came back down a couple days later, and they were heroes, right? But one of the videos that was released, there's a muffle in the background from Mission Control telling them to talk after every 4 seconds, as if it was staged, and they had the earpiece in to be told to make the delay exactly 4 seconds for communication back. I mean, there's that, and then there was also the boot supposedly doesn't match the same print of the shoe he was wearing. But that's something I guess we could save for another week. I can send that article to you if you want to go down a moon hoax evening one night.
Yeah, definitely. So I think back to that time we saw the cosmonauts on the International Space Station with the drill and the screw, and trying to drill it in, and the screw he's floating, but the screw dropped. Remember that? Yeah, I mean.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, like they're out there, right? So like what's really happening here? Is that a magnetic thing, or is that like a BS thing? Is that like a conspiracy thing? Anyway, that stuff's definitely worth talking about. Send me the links, please. As always, guys, just join the Discord. You can share the links with each other, and trust me, as these links happen, I'm pulling from this stuff. Eventually, like what Frank and I used to do is when the links piled up, we just stop and do like a random topic show. And we just pull all the links that you guys shared, the stuff that we couldn't get to, we'd put it all together and we'd do a show. And we'll do it the same way. So throw it in there. If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. That's the point. That's the whole point. We could shut this down. We could record this in a vacuum with no calls or anything, and read from a script and put it out in a podcast feed. That's less fun. That's no fun to me. Like, it's easy to do, right? Come on.
Way too easy.
It's too easy. Like it's like you're on a crappy news channel. No. This is our channel. This is what we talk about together as a collective. And again, thanks for the call, Eric. You're the best, man. We called you out, and you stepped up. So much respect.
Thanks, Eric.
Much respect. Anything else before we let you go?
Always good to talk to you guys.
Appreciate it, man. You
I'd say
too.
it was definitely a pleasure speaking with you guys, man. Have a good evening.
Okay, appreciate it, my man. You as well. And there we go. That's Eric from Pittsburgh. And just like that, see, you can hit me beforehand and say, hey, Mike, I'm going to call in. Here's a couple links. Let's talk about this stuff. We got time for you, right? We got time for you. We made time tonight. And thank you all for the great calls. Thank you all for all the great chat. Thank you for hanging out. Like I said, I say this every time I know it's a long show. We go long even. We shoot for 2 hours. We usually go close to 3. Well, sometimes when you're having fun, time flies, right? And thank you, Sean. Exactly. Thank you, Sean. I'm going to let you finish this up. Go ahead and finish this up before I thank you. I'm going to thank you profusely and grotesquely, and you're going to feel all gushy and gooey. But go ahead, man. Go ahead. Finish this up about your final thoughts on the show, and then we'll do that.
Oh, Mike, you're making me tear up here.
No, don't do that. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I got you in a sec.
All right. Well, I have to say, with everything that's going on, don't let curiosity take you too far or put yourself in danger. And also, just be accepting of everybody's ideas, whether or not they be strange, weird, or completely out there. Put your pride aside and, just try and imagine it from their point of view. That's pretty much the whole thing behind Pandora's box. Yes, you can be curious, but don't be too curious, because that can, again, lead you down dangerous paths and stuff like that.
Let sleeping dogs lie. Yep. Let sleeping dogs lie sometimes. Yeah. There's so many sayings and that kind of fits into this. Open the can of worms that you can't put back. And I think that's a good point. Fantastic stuff. And I think that's the thing about this show is that, let's be tolerant of each other. Let's try and get together instead of tearing each other apart. You turn on Fox News, CNN, they're like telling you to hate each other based on how much money you make, the color of your skin, your sexuality, whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter what it is. They're telling you to hate. It's like the message. It's the drumbeat of hate. It's like Orwell, 1984, the 2 minutes of hate, but it's turned into 24 hours of hate. We don't have to do that, guys. We don't have to buy into that. We can be together. We can disagree and still be friends, and still be a powerful collective that is worthy of reckoning, worthy of conversation, and worthy of fear. Otherwise, they wouldn't try and censor us. So, there we go. Yeah, that's the end of this. Again, Sean, you're the best.
Yes, Mike.
You are our favorite Canadian for a reason. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for sticking around for the show tonight. Thanks for wanting to be on here. Thanks for being excited about Greek mythology and Pandora's box. Thanks for bringing links to contribute and good takes on this. Good stuff. Definitely good stuff. And I can't thank you enough. It doesn't have to be too gushy because I know you'll be back soon. So it ain't no thing. Of course. It ain't no thing. Yeah. So yeah, we're done. We're done here. Yeah. So Penny says Bailey wants to know, is the show over? Yeah, just about. We're just about to finish here. Going to play some outro music in a sec. Let's read some comments real quick. Let's see. Not found on YouTube. Had some fantastic insight about Pandora's box in this. It says a moral of the story: she might be gorgeous, but she's going to bring hell with her. Bam! There you go.
Or else you don't know what's inside the box.
Well, yeah, you don't know if the box bites back. There it is. So again, this is the type of thing, right? So I'm going to try and mix in some old Greek mythology, some old Greek like Marcus Aurelius, like I said, the philosopher kings, Cicero. Like there's some really old, fantastic stuff that I think we can learn from today that maybe some of us missed in philosophy class. Maybe we were there and we glossed over it, like Ash always says, because we just had more important things to do, right? We had to get drunk on that Friday night and we were thinking about how to get beer money. Who knows, right? Like whatever was going on that we didn't really engage then, let's hope we can engage now and look at some of those ancient nuggets of wisdom and maybe bring them to the future. So with regard to Pandora's box, And the Clade X and the coronavirus, I think my point was, the most simple point, is once the virus gets out of the lab, you can't put it back in. And all we have is each other and the hope that brings us together. So there we go. There's the end of
you
it.
have enough hazmats and toilet paper.
Stock that toilet paper. If you don't have
stock it well.
Stock the toilet paper. Oh, God. All right, here we go. This is the end. We're playing the outro music. And let's see, which one? Which one is it? It's this one. There we go. At the end of this. You're listening to Trouble Minds Radio, and I'm your host, Michael Strange.
And I'm your co-host, Sean, the famous Canadian.
Sean, our favorite Canadian. There we go. Sorry. I was going to do that for you, but you just jammed in there perfectly. So I don't even get. No, see, we're unscripted, but look how perfectly unscripted. It's like the perfect imperfect unscripted. Yeah, Sean. Many thanks. Thanks for being enthusiastic. Thanks for contributing. Thanks for all the rest of you. Thank you for being part of this journey. We don't know the answers, but we sure have a lot of questions that we can ask together. So maybe one day we'll find the truth together, but until then, we'll continue the journey. That's what this is all about. One more time, you're the best.
Guys, keep your minds open.
There we go. Keep your minds open. Don't be so quick to judge. Don't forget, Pandora's box. The story says, together, we still have hope. And at the end of this, if you like the show, do the things. Like the things, share the things, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your estranged family members. Maybe we can bring you back together. Maybe. Because we have hope together. That's what this is about. One more time, Troubled Minds, Michael Strange here, Sean, our favorite Canadian, and all the rest of you. Salute to you. Thank you. We'll be back on Friday night, hopefully with some more Greek mythology. We need feedback. Join the Discord, troubleminds.org. Click the Discord link. If you like the Greek stuff, the Roman stuff, if you like Cicero, if you like Marcus Aurelius, you want to hear Plato and Aristotle, we'll do more of that. We just got to hear from you. Join the Discord. Let us know. You all the best.
All have a voice. Use it.
There you go. From our Troubled Minds to yours, thank you for listening. Have a great night. Hang on one sec, Sean. Don't go anywhere.